Hey, it's me, your Uncle Cooper. Sorry to interrupt your music. I do love music, especially when it's set at a reasonable volume. You know, music is really only as good as your speakers. The same is true for minivans. A minivan is only as good as the tires it sits on. And the button on the screen there, it agrees with me. If you click on it, it'll bring you to all the Cooper minivan tires that'll make your minivan a really good minivan. Go with the Coopers! Cooper!
Right now, Amazon is offering some amazing extra perks that come with a job offer. If you start a warehouse job, you can get a $1,000 sign-on bonus. That means you start earning a paycheck right away, plus you get extra cash to use before the holidays. Applying is so easy, you don't even need an interview. It's never been so rewarding to start an hourly job that's close to home. So what are you waiting for? To join the team today, visit Amazon.com/sign-on bonus. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd. Here we have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Oh man, I'm chilling, man. I'm just been having a swell day. We're here a day late. But you know, it's all good. You know, we needed more time, you know, to let everything marinate. So we ended up doing a Q&A. So we've got lots of questions from, you know, Twitter, and I think there was something for the Discord we're gonna go through. A lot of big news in the world of wrestling, but what's going on with you, James?
Not too much. You know, I didn't watch Stardom after the Grand Prix, so like I kind of needed a detox. Like it was weird because like there's never been anything like quite like that after WrestleMania. Like I guess for word burnout, if you will, or just like decompression stage where you know, for me it's kind of like, you know, biggest show in wrestling that year. They normally build WrestleMania season from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. Basketball playoffs are right around the corner. I kind of need a break, and I'll get back in the swing of things. This is the first time I've ever had like a burnout from Stardom, where I was like, this thing was so awesome. There's like, these house shows aren't going to be able to match what just fucking happened. I need a break. Let me, like, you know, in NBA season just started, like, I want to watch some NBA. And, like, I was just, you know, like, a lot of these last 2 weeks where it was, like, I would not watch any wrestling until, like, the weekend and have to cram some stuff in to watch. So, like, I'm actually up to speed on AEW. I'm up to speed on Stardom. So, like, I went to watching all the Stardom shit. Like, everything except for freaking... New Blood, but I even watched the main event of New Blood, and I know what happened to New Blood. So, like, I'm ready to rock.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So, next
the
week on
news,
the
I'm a little
stream-
behind on the news, but you're going to have to fill me on the news, and we'll go from there. But, you know, that's not too different from some days where, like, I'm just, like, away from whatever weird discourse there is going on that you're, like, you plugged in and you've been into it for a couple hours and ready to go. So, wherever you take me, I'm ready to go.
There's some stuff. Before we get there, though, make sure you guys are downloading One Nation Radio on the individual One Nation Radio feed. We are seeing the numbers rise slowly. So if you normally listening on the Social Suplex feed, you want to support One Nation Radio even more. And why wouldn't you? Because you're not haters that listen to this show. You guys definitely want to see you boys succeed. So make sure you go ahead and do that. There was one other thing. So next week is going to be a Halloween show, costumes. So I got mine, I'm hoping James, gets in the spirit and, joins me, here on the show with the Halloween get up.
I don't even know what to say to you right now. Like, maybe, maybe not. We'll see. The we'll see is no. We'll see.
If y'all want to see James dress up,
don't do ones in the comments or twos in the comments. None of that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
We need the people to speak.
You are not about to peer pressure me or fan pressure me into doing that
for the audience.
This ain't fear factor. I'm not going to put me on a show to do weird things just for your entertainment. What is that? No, we're not doing this. Get out of here.
In the biggest news of the week, Dave Meltzer's office is clean. No, I'm kidding.
I heard about this. How many people came over and helped him clean up that shitty ass room?
Man, it had to be at least 3.
Terrible.
Grown ass man. We can see his floor. They installed a whole camera system, so Dave on camera just is fucking hilarious. So, like, I'm considering doing the
adult.
I'm considering doing the video membership. I've never had it just to see Dave just be hilarious.
Look, man, you know how people be asking, like he's one of the most prolific writers of all time. People ask, like, how the hell this man, like, in any genre of literacy, right? I said literacy. That's not the right word. Whatever. We're moving on. But like, people ask, how does he find all the time? Like, the time is on the floor, my guy. He wasn't tidying shit up for years and decades, whatever else. Like, his system is furnished on the floor. That's how he's able to crank out so much shit.
I want to know, like, what's the wildest shit he picked up, like, off the floor that was like, oh, there was some crazy ass story that, like, he forgot about that was just, like, laying there or something. Some notes that was laying around, like, oh my God.
Did anybody like,
Dave should have did this on a live stream, clean that whole shit up. He and people got to super chat that shit.
I don't know, because when it comes, look, we don't know who was involved in the cleaning, but we don't know, like, what they had to clean out of there. So we don't. So it might have been shit where, like, someone was like, I know damn well you ain't bring me over here for your stinking ass birthday to help clean up this bullshit that's been here in this corner, hiding off and dying for last 5 years. Get the fuck out of here.
This man probably done picked up, like, a letter from, like, Motoko Baba, like Giant Baba's wife, saying he's banned from the arena.
That was so many years ago. Was that the late 90s? When, like, all of a sudden his mom started hating him? Or
yes.
Yeah. Did he ever find out why?
I don't know.
Hold on. Black Saber Virginia says James got to do the Town of Kano pose on Halloween at least once. I think I've done that on this stream before. I think I've literally done it. Fuck it, I'll do it now. Like, clip it. I don't give a shit. I'll do it again if you didn't catch it. Which one do you want? Do you want the Utami one or the Tam one? Which one you want?
Very distinct.
Yeah. There you go. Halloween came early for you.
But the real news of the week. So Chris Jericho ended up signing a 3-year extension with AEW. And basically keeps him in AEW through December 2025. He's 51 years old now. So they announced it via Variety. So there was, like, a lot of stuff. This comes on the heels of the Jon Moxley extension with, like, similar to the in-ring, Jericho will be a producer and a creative advisor for AEW. He's going to continue to mentor young talent. he basically stated, he said, I guess the answer is simple. Why not? Things have been going so well in the company. I really do feel this is my company. It's tattooed on my heart, so to speak. I've been here since day one. There's really no reason not to be here continuing forward. When AEW first started, I think it was basically Chris Jericho and a group of very talented people that might not have been as well known. Within 3 months, that changed. And within 3 years, we've got at least a dozen, maybe 24 of our homegrown stars that came into their own on AEW television. TK also weighed in. He said Jericho cemented his legacy a long time ago as one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time, and we're fortunate to have his skills, charisma, knowledge, and insights in AEW for years to come. Chris has discovered a fountain of youth this year, and he's having some of the very best matches of his legendary career against some of the top names in wrestling and expanding his responsibilities. He'll continue to serve as a valuable leader with our roster, having the opportunity to utilize one of the most creative minds in the history of wrestling. So I basically, on this show, like a couple months ago, said he's going to work his way into being like the Pat Patterson of his time. And that this seems to be step one to ensuring that is the case. But I feel like the writing was on the wall for this. Once Vince McMahon left WWE, there was no way in fuck Chris Jericho was going back to work for Triple H. If you know about the history of those two gentlemen, it is a Cold War like the United States and the USSR. It slips through in interviews sometimes. They're normally publicly
they're diplomatic publicly.
They're diplomatic publicly, but it slips through in interviews sometimes, especially when Jericho's talking about NXT, because he thinks that shit sucks, and he thought it sucked for a long time. And there's resentment going back to that boat stuff where they wouldn't, have NXT on the boat. Of course, like Jericho's whole time in, WWE, him coming in, I imagine Triple H, his best friend being Shawn Michaels, hearing everybody saying this other guy's the next Shawn Michaels, and he probably thinks he sucks, and put the brakes on his career a bunch. And they had that WrestleMania program that didn't really do any favors for either of them, really. And just a decade of, and also the Festival of Friendship thing, which I think is like the big, most recent thing, where Triple H was trying to get a whole bunch of shit changed. Jericho was like, "Fuck that!" Went straight to Vince, and then Vince essentially let Jericho do it his way. And I think there's just always a Cold War there. So I had no doubt, like once Vince was gone, that Jericho was gonna like stick around. I'm assuming he, this if anyone was worried about AEW, and I don't think anyone that listens to this show would be worried about them as far as like, are they going to be viable in the future and stuff like that, right? Because you guys are smart.
Or at least not dumb.
Right. Signing through, signing through 2025 seems to be like this, like, there's money on the way. There's like, there's stuff like for him to not even go to free agency to see, he was like, I'll just take this bag now. What do you think that says? And, what's your general reaction to this news?
I think that it gets him, it gets him to a point to where like, he has his money secured, and like, if he's, somehow wants to continue past 25, like they'll have their new TV deal by then and have more money. There'll be money available for him there, and it'll be early enough to where like there won't be like a bunch of huge influx of, WWEers or another wave of them like it was with NXT guys like coming in and that sort of thing. So there will be money there as opposed to like similar situation when they heard about like. We were hearing about like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn about like, wait till next deal. Like it's kind of, financially is not, it's not the right time for you to come over here for us. So I think that just puts him right in position to get one last bag before on the way out. Like, so, and given what he's done this year, I wouldn't have the concerns that I had like last year. Like he is, I'm not saying that he's perfect or he has great matches time in, time out, but like, if this is what he's going to do going forward, he can keep doing this forever. Obviously, he won't be able to continue to do this forever. My point is like last year or 2020 at points, we had a lot of concerns about like, is he done? And then the health scare, the weight loss. This is a bounce back year. Like we don't have a comeback wrestler of the year type of award, but like he would definitely be into contention, if not like winning it outright at the least.
So once again proves the ancient philosophy never count out Chris Jericho. I was very happy to see this news, and I was like, this just comes at a perfect time with him looking like this leader of sorts, and like this well of knowledge that's around, and Jericho just makes things better. That's been the case in wrestling for how long
30
now?
years
So like,
about?
yeah. So like, if you can lock him up and then like continue to like keep his influences, and this is a guy, I've gone time and time again, and I'm not going to do the same Jericho segment I always do right now, but I was very happy to see this, and it ensures like some of the core like of AEW is like going to be around. Like you don't have to worry about Jericho like taking his ball and headed elsewhere. Like, and I think he would be very missed if he wasn't around. So, but speaking of someone, or you was going to say something?
Oh yeah, look in the chat.
So a couple things. Jericho's video post for Triple H's 25 years in WWE is so backhanded. Yes, it is. Jericho had a better feud with Shawn than Triple H. Agreed. The Ocho going to HBO Max, baby. That's funny. AEW podcasting, Omaha Steaks. Jericho is loaded.
Also the was it the wine of Jericho? He also had that.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah.
A lot of stuff.
So,
but yeah, what I was referring to was
put a check with a check.
Put a check. Okay, MJG. No, I was actually referring to. It's good to recap those, but I was referring to Zach Poe after talking about doing the poses.
Oh man.
So I've already done like the two very common
the bear.
Yeah, the two common Tam poses. So like if you do the bear one, I'll do the Cosmic Angels pose.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Alright.
Screenshot that.
Yeah. That's the only reason why he's asked us to do it. He's like, I want to get a picture when both of them are doing something crazy, and then they're gonna run off with it. So yeah,
run off. We have no problem being meaned up.
Go for it. Go for it. Whatever.
We encourage this behavior.
Yeah.
So Adam says he tried to book Fozzy here in Cincinnati. It's not cheap. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The music too. So but yeah, man. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah. So I was talking about Jericho and him, being better with him being around. Speaking of someone who looks like they're not going to be around, CM Punk looks like he is going to be bought out. Like that's the story. AEW is looking to buy CM Punk out of his deal, and that's kind of I think what a lot of people thought was going to happen originally with this thing. It's like actual kind of news like broke on it. Like it's funny how Dave went on that rant about how he wasn't getting anything, and then all of a sudden he starts getting everything. Yeah, and it is.
Squeaky wheel got the oil, huh?
Yeah. Something happened. Somebody started calling Dave. Like I think TK was like, "All right, man, here's what's going on." Like I don't know who talked to him, but seems like the elites come back soon. But CM Punk's gone, and I guess the holdup is the non-compete issue. So it is. I don't know, like the non-compete that the reason the non-compete is because it seems like they think he's going to go to WWE, something like that. I think he immediately would go to WWE at whenever he could. There's been like conflicting reports, like people saying WWE wouldn't have interest, like from the Triple H side. Yeah, I don't believe that. Like
Triple H isn't an idiot.
Like even if it was a case where they didn't bring him in right away, like let a year go by, and then they start thinking like, well, what can we do for a little shot in the arm? Like there's nothing that
they keep bringing back Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, but they wouldn't bring back CM Punk because he's difficult to work with. I'm sorry. Isn't one of those guys a guy that like whipped a fucking championship belt at Vince's head after a WrestleMania main event? What the fuck are we talking about?
I was talking to a buddy of ours. Like, you seem to be blatantly disregarding that they went to court with that man. I was like, well, is that shit still going? No, okay.
Also, that went to court. Like, did they go to court with Hogan?
Yeah.
Didn't Hogan testify against Vince? Are we done?
Yeah, man.
People, I get it. Like, people want people to hold grudges and hold them forever. And look, I gotta say, like, I admire some people that have held up their forever beefs. I really do. I appreciate the part where he's like, never forgetting. I never forgive either. Like, I appreciate people that are willing to hold their ground on, like, being like, I have had enough, and I will not go one step further with this person over what happened, and they're willing to stick up to that. I really do. But that's not how most, like, relationships are, especially when it comes to this type of business. Like, all the people that you know, they've said over years, WWE will never take them back. They took back fucking Warrior. Warrior stuck him up for how much money?
150,000, I believe.
Jared, how much? Was that 100K?
100K.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so, like, as far as, like, AEW, like, CM Punk brought what he brought to the company. At least during the first 6 months, he was a very strong draw and television ratings mover. And, and then after that, I would say it's a tale of two runs, like, where he kind of comes back to reality. And obviously, I don't think he's going to stay, like, as hot as he was when he first came back. I don't think that'd be realistic to expect that, because much like the story of, like, CM Punk's career, he's not John Cena. So, them losing him out of that and keeping the Elite, sign me up. Like, if it comes down to, are you keeping CM Punk? Are you keeping the Elite? I'm keeping the Elite. I'm keeping the guys that are responsible for much of the greatest matches in this company's history. I'm keeping the guys that are, like, founders of this company. And I have confidence they'll be able to work themselves back in easier with whatever harm they may have done to themselves in this whole scenario than, CM Punk, who embarrassed the company publicly and did all this stuff, like, right in front of Tony Khan, in front of the owner. Like, the good thing about a lot of the elite stuff is, like, no one's acted an ass like this in public. Like, so CM Punk loses kind of a lot of sympathy in that respect to me, with his public antics, not just at the press conference, but, like, the whole shit where he was calling out Hangman Page, like, and going and taking the show, like, off course and shit like that. So I don't know, man. It's real weird, and I don't know. What about you, man?
It sucks that either are gone. I quite frankly wish that it'd be a situation where, like, they can just come back and just never work with each other, and I'd be probably fine with that. I know that you think that would not be ideal. Well, we're past not ideal after CM Punk goes out there and does that thing with in front of right next to Tony Khan. So we're past that, right? Much like we're past a lot of things, but we're gonna move on. I think it kind of sucks. I think especially because, like, these acts are, CM Punk was was their top act, and he had an incredible year, regardless of what people think of the Bret Hart tribute stuff or not, and whether or not you liked it or you hated it. Like, the dude had better television than anyone in the time he was around, in the year. So it sucks that he's going to be gone. It sucks that, like, this MJF thing, even though they were able to put a nice bow on it, still, like, there was another chapter for it, and it seems that we're going to be missing out on that. And, like, it's going to be weird, like, it seems like he won't be back. And, like, we're going to be like, all right, so what's feud of the year? Oh, him and MJF. Well, who's best on promos? Oh, he probably finishes top 3. It's just going to be really weird. But, yeah, if he's gone, he's gone. And, like, there's other places to wrestle. And that's the beauty of, like, having an AEW round, as opposed to, like, if you're in WWE and you burn your bridge at WWE and you're as big as CM Punk, you can't go anywhere else. Now, like, there's 2 places, and if you burn one bridge, you can go to other place and you get so hot and do so much good business or good work that like they'll eventually want to forgive you at the next place, and you can go back to the other place in a few more years. Maybe not in the case of CM Punk thing or whatever else, but in general that'll be the case, because like when we had WCW and WWE, we had people out here pulling out scissors on people and going back and forth, and I'm not talking about the Acclaim neither. So so yeah, like, you know, for the benefit of the wrestling business, I'm glad that this is a situation where like you aren't under pressure to like feel like if you blow a shot or blow opportunity or want to stick up for yourself at one spot, like you're done in major American professional wrestling. The only place you can find something even similar is taking your ass to Japan. So
I don't think we'd have to worry about CM Punk going to Japan.
Oh no, I'm just saying for the general person. Like, I'm not talking specifically for him, but like it does suck that he's gone. But like I think like this setup, like if there is another type of CM Punk situation, like there will be a landing spot for them if they want to continue in pro wrestling after this.
Yep,
and I think that's for the best.
So countdown is on for the elite return.
God, imagine Punk doing a G. Look, man, that man catch one fucking Okada elbow, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Look, he's at this point right now, like in WWE, that's the perfect place to go in theory, right? Like he can get himself a place where he can only give me $2 million. Or sorry, it's CM Punk. I'm sorry. Give me $4 million and give me 10. I mean, Edge got 3. Why the fuck wouldn't Punk be able to get 4 or 5? So like, hey, anywhere from 5 to 10 matches. Give me $4 or $5 million. I'm there for you know, your pay-per-views plus a pay-per-view here and there, a Money in the Bankers, or you know, something like that. Money in the Bank is a pay-per-view at this point. But you get my point. Like he can do the end schedule.
he can go wrestle the Fiend.
Punk in the N1. Can you imagine that man catching a fucking elbow from Segura? Oh my God.
Let Nakajima kick his fucking chest in.
Like, what? No. One go chop. It's one go chop. You know that man hates chops. One go chop. He's fucking through.
That man will pull that I'm done here and just walk out the ring. That man will pull that Bad News Brown and walk to the back. I would not tolerate this.
How many Sherry kicks would it take to get him out of there? One? No. Does he even need to feel one? Does he just need to see one to be like, nope, not coming here?
I think he'll see it and be like, not for me. Not for me.
Like, wait a second. She just kicked her and it sounded like a baseball bat hitting a baseball. No. Just no.
Oh. The Elite rides again, so can't wait for him to come back. So let's see. From there, I guess we should go to our Q&A. So
okay,
we've got a few. So we'll start with Bruce. Shout out to Bruce. He says, question with how would you fantasy book a program? ... Just kidding.
Okay.
Real question.
There's a lot of work.
Yeah. He said, with MJF seemingly destined to win the AEW title, do you think he's a type of performer that is better suited to the chase than actually having a run as the champion?
I think he's good and versatile enough to do either at a high level, and given that he already doesn't wrestle that much to begin with, it fits right in the category of he's an event attraction, put the belt on him. I will say that, like, if you're going to make him the champion, and he's going to do that in the same fashion where he's only going to wrestle, I don't know, maybe 18 times a year or whatever else, then like I don't necessarily think that's conducive to being a long running champion. But that could change depending on if like this babyface thing that they seem to be teasing like works through, because like he can always talk himself into, being a big deal and setting up the next opponents for him in that way and whatever else. But yeah, I think he can make it work because he's that talented and versatile as a talker.
Yeah, I echo your sentiments on that. His promo ability is strong enough to where if it's like, yo, you got to go eat innings, like he can eat innings in a way like, you couldn't just throw Heyman out there with the mic. You got to seem like you got to have something face to face or something. Like you can send MJF out there by himself.
Like I think that well, I don't know if he can go out there and basically fill a bus as a fiery babyface like he's John Cena necessarily. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. But I have to see it first, right? But what I will say is, somebody becomes a contender, build up, one or two promos over, and then get to the match and, 3 weeks down the line, 2 weeks down the line. I think they could do that for a while, and be successful. I just wonder, is the pattern going to get? With me, I'm always worried about when he gets himself into seemingly a pattern. That's kind of the reason why it seems like they decided to stop, tease and do the firm, and then be like, all right, we've already done the Pinnacle. We already did the dissension between not House of Jericho. I said House of Jericho. Inner Circle is and also when he was, buying off people before he even did the Pinnacle, it's all right, we already know, Wardlow and all that kind of stuff. It's he was building up another pattern, and then now he's all right, nope. I know you're already thinking I'm not doing the same thing I've already done before, twice, 3 times over. No. So, it seems like he's already kind of aware of that, but, as far as the pattern of he's just going to be building programs, talking, and then have a match, and then, building programs, talking, and then have a match, and it seems like a once-a-month thing, I think that we'll see how it goes, but I think he's talented enough to make it work, or at least make it not feel like an actual routine, if you will.
And my classic philosophy on this type of question, the chase versus the champion thing, it's all in your challengers, who they have set up for you. Yeah. So I'm not gonna ask a champion, a first time champion, to basically work miracles. You're essentially establishing your credibility. I thought they set up Hangman with the opponents the right way, but something there was a missing period. The match is always delivered, and it seemed like the opponents were credible. I don't think you could ask for a better first program than doing the Danielson thing, mm-hmm. and then rolling into Adam Cole and beating him that strong. But mm-hmm. I think even down to Kenny's reign, he's starting doing rematches, stuff like that. It all depends on what's set up for Hangman, or for MJF, excuse me.
Yeah.
Red Leaf at Bowling JD, he says, need in-depth thoughts and opinions on Chan Yota from New Blood Rising 4. So he hit us with the thoughts.
Okay, so
I've seen limited footage of Chan Yota. And
what do you mean by limited footage? What kind of footage?
Not that kind, sir.
Okay. So
I saw her, lifting up Rossi Ogawa off of the ground where he stands.
Funny stuff. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Chan Yota, for those that don't know, it is funny. Every time I feel like I always have to do a disclaimer for people that watch us, but also don't watch Stardom or Joshi at all, and they still regularly listen to our Joshi segments. So Josh knows how to say Utami's last name, but it's but he doesn't know what she looks like. But whatever. But Chan Yota is from a promotion I think called PPP Tokyo, and also either on the side or in a past life, if you will. She was a JAV actress in
what that stand for, James?
Japanese adult video. She was a porn star. So and I was going to get to it, but whatever. But yeah, so she wrestled Mai Sakurai on New Blood 5. I did not watch the match, but from the press conference I've seen her, where she seems very charismatic. She has a great physique, muscular, double biceps and all that. So obviously attractive woman. I think if not for Joshi's history of hesitancy towards pornography Gravore is a little different, but pornography, I think that she probably would have gotten a more serious look or whatever else, or because there have been times stories of somebody was a Joshi wrestler shot a video in Shinkiba First Ring, they found out about it, and then she was blackballed forever from the promote. This is over a decade ago. So they've a lot of the companies have always been we don't know parts of it. And even to this day,
that in America too. So
yeah. at the same time, like
they make sure you didn't, like in WWE at least, like they make sure you didn't do nothing. Like
yes, but there's also history of people that have done like, you know, nude modeling or whatever else that they've let slide or whatever else at the time, right? So, but yes, that is a good point. But I don't know anything about her outside of that. I haven't seen her wrestle. I don't know anything, but she does seem very charismatic and very fun, and like she has done these comedy things with Rossi at these 2 press conferences that she's been at. One where like she does the Rocky, like she busts the she's my wrestler of the year. Jesus Christ. Grow up. Anyway,
you said she busts what?
Yeah, she you're an idiot. She did the full Rocky where like she cracks the egg and put it in the glass and she drank the 2 eggs. And then like she told Rossi, you come, you know, you do it, and Rossi's like, oh fuck no, I'm not doing that. And then like he was like, well, I'm, you know, basically talking about training or whatever else, and then like, you know, he said, Ross, get on my back, and then like she piggybacked him, or sorry, he piggybacked her is actually the way, and then like it's, you know, it's on YouTube, you can see it on Stardom's YouTube channel. And then there was one from the press conference like right after the Grand Prix where, you know, she brings like boxing gloves and the mitts or whatever else, and like he's like, and she's like, I'm training to get better still, so I need you to go, you know, put these mitts on so I can do it. And then Rossi was like, I'm not doing it. Well, you put, and he said, well, you know, what are you, a girly man? I'll make you a real man. Put these gloves on. And she puts the mitts on, and Rossi just like this. It doesn't move his fist, and then she puts the gloves to the she puts the mitts to the gloves, and it make it look like he's like, you know, throwing lightning fast punches, but he ain't moving it at all. Like, it's just like a funny comedy thing. Like, she's funny. But we'll see. Like, I mean, I have to check out what happened on New Blood 5 aside from the main event. But, if she's decent, I don't see any reason why she shouldn't be able to be brought in outside of the stigma of that shit in Japan. Like, you know, if you're good enough, you're good enough. And like, she has a requisite, like, you know, charisma to make this thing work. Like another example, like, on the Dark show, it wasn't aired. It won't be on World. It wasn't pay-per-view, but like they had a woman named Chan Yoda, who's a YouTube celebrity with like millions of followers, like trained with Hazuki and was on like a Dark show match. Like it was her and Hazuki versus Kamitani and Hina, and like they're going to show that match like on television. It was recorded by like, you know, a film crew like in a couple days. So like, and she looked, you know, decent drop kick, decent vertical suplex, like took punishment, like Kamitani clocked her right in the jaw with a running drop kick, like, you know, good build or whatever else. Like she looked like if she wanted to do this and really want to do this, she could be a good wrestler or a competent wrestler, and then they can figure out the rest with her fame and popularity if they wanted to. Like, so like, just cause, you know, I don't care about your background that you used to do that, whatever you did on camera. I don't care. Some people do, and that sucks.
Yeah. So shout out to E Steel, 99 follower. We need one more follower to get to 100. So do y'all thing. So yeah. So
are you gonna celebrate if you get to 100 on the show?
Man, I don't know what I should do. Shit, I don't. You know, shit. So got to do something. Shit. JD also says, who's the most washed in Neo Stardom Army, and compare them to Russell Westbrook?
The most washed would have to be Alpha Female, easily.
I did not hear good things with the Alpha Female.
So I did not watch the match at Royal Quest 2. I did not watch it, and I have time. Her match in the main event of this pay-per-view with Kairi, it was a classic big plotting bruiser gaijin monster versus small babyface that takes punishment and works from underneath and throws her body around and hopefully survives. Good match. Give it three flat, but you know, like you can clearly see that like this match was just like classic Kairi storytelling of I'll take care of your limitations. You don't have to do much running. You ain't got to do much bumping. You just gotta, you know, be there where I need you to be at certain points or whatever else, and you can hit me, and that's cool.
James, was she wrestling the Alpha Female or Luke Gallows?
It was very much like a Luke Gallows Fale type of match in the G1, yeah. A decent one. Not like one of those matches that you absolutely hate, but a damn sure one like one of those like Okada, oh my god, Okada got a 4-star match out of Fale. It wasn't one of those. It was one of those like, oh, this is passable, moved on. It was one of those.
Yeah, man. As far as Russell Westbrook, he's struggling. Like he's not playing well. He's not out of the lineup tonight. He's made some erroneous decisions with the ball. He's getting run out there for a lot of minutes that maybe he should not be out on the floor. I feel like there's some type of dark reason why he's being showcased like this. I feel like they're trying to convince somebody to take him, and there's a lot of like politics going on with, he's making $47 million, so he kind of has to be in the lineup. You can't really like bench this guy like that because he doesn't seem to react well to it, and they haven't explored the option of sending him home.
And that's probably the option for the best for everyone.
Yeah, Russ is like one of my favorite players, like, throughout his career, and it just seems like he's at the end of the line, and
there's no shame in that because the end comes for everybody,
right? And it's just like,
is he handling it gracefully? No, but most don't.
Yeah, I feel like as fans and people that are talking about Russ, like we can kind of say what we want, but obviously not to him or anything. Somebody got checked for doing that essentially, and he made them cower like a hoe.
That's the thing that always gets me. Like, Rich, I know you know the joke. Think about a check. You say something, he go up there and beat you up.
How you gonna enjoy that money?
You can go to every Laker game you ever want to ever again, because it ain't gonna last long. whatever he put on you ain't gonna last long. But the money you get off that gonna last a lifetime. So I don't know why y'all throwing up when you say whatever slick thing you want to say to him, and then he pull your card. It's like, just bold up and say what you gonna say, because what is gonna happen? Malice in the Palace.
But I think some of the rhetoric around him is a bit erroneous and heavy-handed, especially like from the media. Like, bro, like you sent me that Kevin O'Connor column, and I was like furious, like just reading the first paragraph. I'm just like,
the first sentence was out of pocket. I think the rest of it was pretty fair, but like the way you went about it was kind of like, hey man, you ain't really. And look, to be fair, O'Connor has written articles plenty of times. He was one of the last people on the boat of like, hey bro, I don't know why you keep thinking like Westbrook is going to be the guy that adapts. He's never shown any way that he's going to adapt his game to make for the efficiency that like he's not going to, he's not really meant to not have the ball. He's not going to be a cutter. He's not going to be a screener without the ball. Even when you account for the things of like when someone can't shoot, like you don't have to be too scared of them being a cutter or whatever else. But like O'Connor, like last year was harping on like, all he has to do is do, these things. Everybody says this is how he can stay in the league longer. And he kept defiantly saying he wasn't going to do it. And like, at this point, like most people were like, hey man, I don't know why you wrote this article that he could do this. People have been saying this about him for like 3 years now at this point. It's never going to happen. And like, I guess like, the first 3 games were so bad that he had enough. I still think even, just because like you had hope and that dude let you down or whatever else, so you don't write that first sentence. But I think everything outside the first sentence is fair, but he shouldn't have wrote that first sentence. His editor should have like been like, are you sure you want to say this?
Yeah. Like there's just a lot of like the media members are going in extra hard on him. It feels really personal, and it's just like, it's icky, man. It's shit that like, I feel like, the athletes, especially somebody like Russell Westbrook and, what he's given to the game, kind of deserves a little more respect at the end. But I guess it's not about what you deserve. It's, you get what you get. So,
I mean, there's a lot of stuff at play with this. You're a Lakers fan. You know how it is. Like, it's the most popular fan base. It's the most popular player, also on the most popular, team, and they're failing. And like it's all bad for him. It's all bad for him. And he's always been,
he used to have to take the bullets for Durant. He's taking the bullets now.
Yeah. And he's never ingratiated himself, like, or shown any, like, humility side except for the times he's dancing. And it sucks. It's how the media treats people. Whereas, like, if you never show your humanity or show, like, a side of vulnerability, like, you can't just ever be all just pride and boastfulness and, or whatever else they'll say, they'll paint you a certain way. That's always been true, but I don't know why no one, like, I don't know, maybe he had to fall out with his longtime agent that said he should have made adjustments along the way, and then he told him no, go to hell, and they severed their business relationship. But like, it seems like there's nobody that he can listen to to tell him any different. And like, look, that's the reason why he made it to the NBA, and that's the reason why he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But that's also the reason why, like, this end is going to be really, or has been really ugly, and is going to continue to be this ugly unless he makes some change. Otherwise, like, it's going to be, it's going to be like, where is he now? Who picked him up? And then there's going to be a bunch of people asking, like, why is this dude in the league? Whatever. It's like, well, because of his attitude. And like, look, it works when it works. That's what got him there. And it's also why he won't be able to come back after a certain amount of time. And I really hope, because, he's never been my favorite player. He's always been someone that's often frustrated me with the way he's played. And a lot of it is stuff where, like, I see the way he plays is like, why can't you just try to optimize this 5% better, or handle this 5% better, and you could probably have gone over the hump at certain points, whatever else, maybe not, or you would have came closer than doing it your way. But whatever, it is what it is. And like, I think it all stinks. I don't necessarily feel bad for him, but I think like but I definitely empathize with the part where it's like, this is the end, and he ain't equipped for it to end, because if he was, he probably would have never made it this far at 6'3", regardless of the part where he may have been the best athlete I've ever seen on a basketball court. Like, it's not just all about, like, when these sports, people think it's just like you get gifted with, or you just train and you get the muscle and and the quick twitch to go with that. Like, no, a lot of that comes here, and a lot of it comes, it's here. I'm putting the outside of my chest, but like, it is this, right? And like,
your head and your heart, for those that are listening.
Yeah. I think the guy when I said I put it on my chest, but like, I think that like, it was gonna end bad. It was gonna end bad. And it's somehow ending worse than I imagined. And it's like, he, Southern Cal dude comes to the Lakers, and
it's been a nightmare for him.
It's been a nightmare for him, and it's not been entirely his fault. I think a lot of people have overstated the part where, like, well, what about this? What about that? Like, look, man.
Like, we knew who Russ was before he got to the team. So, like, somebody wanted him there.
And also, people should have been, with the alarms on when it was like, look at, all these things that are incorporated with, like, when it comes to aging, and like, you knew he wasn't going to age well, and they thought they could get the last year or 2 years out of him. And it's like, no, when it drops, it's going to be out of nowhere. And that's exactly what happened.
Yep. So, last question from Red Leaf. He said, Tommy versus Mayu, is this better than their first match? Explain it as if they were in a Hell in a Cell match. I don't know what that means.
Okay, so, better than first. Okay, so they've had 3 matches. The match this weekend, the Red Belt title change, and the 2008 Grand Prix final. I like
the title match personally. More? Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I've ever gone back and watched that match. I think that I probably hold that in lower esteem than most people, because I was like, quite frankly, at the time when he switched the belt onto Tommy, I was concerned on like what the hell is going to happen with her on top. The answer was, it's going to be the best fucking reign the company's ever had at top. But at the time, I had a lot of questions, right? And I think it were fair to ask, especially I think they were fair to ask in coming back, now that she's has been champ for a full year, like, I don't think that, I still don't think I was wrong asking them. I think there were fair questions to ask. I was just, but she had up her in the bottom. She was great. But I thought that match was someone, 4 1/4 to 4 1/2 type of thing. I think their Grand Prix match final from 2018 was 4 1/4 on the dot. I think this match is like in the 4 1/3 range. But I probably am wrong because I was more like, oh my god, they took the butt off Mayu and they put it on this person that's not one of the, like right now bankable like top 3 or 4 or 5 stars in the company. She's been presented as such the whole way through for her since the day she debuted, but
super rookie.
Yeah, but she was never, actually over to that extent. Now, at this point, it don't really matter. Like, you have your top stars, you have your Tams, your Julias, your Starlight Kids, your Mayus, your Natsupois, but like, if you put somebody and present them in Stardom well enough, and they can hold it up, and when they're presented that way, in spots like Shuri, like Kamatani, like Utami have, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just an efficient machine. It doesn't matter. So, at this point, I have far less concerns for the next person that they, do that with. Apparently not when it comes to some of these fans where they, talk about Mirai, but
man,
but whatever. Like, but I think that like just regardless of whichever one, in these 3 Utami Mayu matches, they're all great. And I'd have to go back and watch the second match to remember how the finish was. But like the last 2 especially are just like declarative things of like Utami like is just better than Mayu, and Mayu can survive it or she can't. Like Mayu can beat her, but Utami is just like she's overwhelmed with power every time, and like Mayu can sometimes survive it, sometimes she can't. Like when the belt changed on 2 years ago, like Mayu had just went through that Shuri match and the Shuri defense, and then the Takumi offense, and she was wore the fuck out from those 2. She got her ass kicked in both of them, and then the third person kicked her ass. She couldn't answer the count at that time. This time, she hadn't had a kind of wear and tear on her. She was able to survive the onslaught from Utami. And like either way, they're all great matches. Like when she like Utami's working over her back in the match over the weekend, and then like I'm thinking, okay, she's going up to give her that second rope air raid crash, and like Utami drops her on her fucking neck and stab from air raid crash. Like Jesus Christ, like they're just so good together, and like it's an amazingly like protected match. Like the only other match that they have that's up their sleeve, they could be like, you can pull this out or whatever else at any given time. And we haven't done it a number of, like 4 or 5 times. At this point, it's like Julia and Utami. That's the only other really super big match for like everyone. Like they're heavy hitters that like they haven't done at least 3 times that I can think of. Maybe unless you want to
looking
like
at
into it,
and like looking at the way the booking seems to be like rising and dropping them. Like I feel like that's a first quarter of next year kind of match. So,
oh yeah, I could definitely see that be like a March 2023 Julia Utami type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Question from Dan Coffin. He says, how long will it take Dave to reclutter his office since it's been cleaned with their changed video? Is this really the end of the Dave Meltzer talking head documentary interview in front of a disastrous office era? Sad. Exclamation point.
So
I'll give Dave at the new year, like at New Year, watch out.
That would be about what I was gonna say. Like for those that have ever been around, like people that can't keep tidy, or even like someone that's like a borderline hoarder or paper hoarder, if you will, like disorganized or whatever else. Like that stuff, they're not going to tidy that stuff up, every other day or every day. Like that stuff gonna add up and add up and add up, and then like in a couple of months it could be not necessarily as bad as that was, but it could be like it's still a mess when someone with fresh eyes comes and sees it. So yeah, I would say like he has probably end of this year. Yeah.
Sam Brown, Sir Sam, he says, if Punk is on the way out and the Elite come back, where do you see them fitting in? It feels like they can't just come straight back like nothing happened after everything. They did get stripped of some belts, so they could easily slide back in that, but I feel like...
I was reading the chat, sorry about that.
Sam said, if Punk's on the way out and Elite come back in, where do you see them fitting in? It feels like they can't just come straight back like nothing happened after everything. I said, I feel like, you could immediately program them back into trios. The only thing with that is I feel like at some point they would need to address, like with the audience, kind of what happened. Like, even if they don't want to say, CM Punk's name or something like that, like they've got to find a way to like tell us, whether in a press release or like an announcement or something, like what happened to them. Why did they lose those belts? Something like that. I feel like these guys are all great wrestlers. These are like, they're responsible for so many of the greatest matches in the history of the company. How about we just have them do that? Like, there's plenty of teams and people that the Bucks haven't faced, and there's plenty of new opponents for Kenny. So even if you got to break them up and pop them back into singles and tags, you can go that way, or you can keep them in their own like little trios bubble wrap, because there's a direct death triangle thing kind of waiting for them.
You have to soft launch them back. Happy we're back, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, they're going to have somebody, like, speak on them being gone. And not in a way where they actually talk about the details, but at least, like, acknowledge, like, you were put on the, you were, too hot for TV for a while. And they got kind of acknowledge that and play off of that for a while. Not, like, long, like, at least acknowledge it in promo, build it as attention for a match, as the heat for a match, and then have the match, and then, like, they'll reestablish their roots that they have laid in the company on screen with people. But that's not like that's like 3, 4, or 5 weeks. And then it's back to, same old. It won't take long, but they got to at least acknowledge like they've been gone. They can't just act like,
They just can't skip out to the ring and be like, "We're back, guys."
Yeah. They can't be out here acting like some absentee father. You can't do that.
I demand to know where you were. Fuck.
God damn
it. Detroit Dawn, Black Sabre Jr., I believe. He says, I see them coming back to face Death Triangle full gear, but not winning them. They could do that. And also, Black Sabre Jr. has another question. He says, although the year isn't over, what year would you say is better? Will Ospreay's 2019 or his 2022 run?
For me, I'd personally have to say it's 2019. Just the bias of like getting the double dip in Best Super Juniors in the G1 and like, having the Dominion match with Dragon Lee where he wins the belt. Like
Super Junior final, all the indie stuff.
Yeah, like this year he didn't have necessarily like the conquering moment of like beating Okada, but I think if he had that, I might say that. But like that whole thing where like Shingo was just undefeated and then like he fucking beat him in the final. Like that's something like I'll remember that like for a long fucking time.
I'm gonna go.
So I think narratively, like for me, I'll go with that as like the quote unquote kayfabe achievement or whatever else. But it is closer than I'm making out to be.
I'm going to go with 2019 simply because I think that's the greatest year on record for any wrestler. And that's like fresh off especially like looking at what it followed, like with Kenny and then Okada, like, and he like topped them both. Like, I think it's 2019 for sure. Especially and also the two tournaments, the indie stuff. He was just on like a slight bit more athletic. And I'm talking about like percentage points here. Mm-hmm. So, I'll go with 2019, but 2022, like also one of the greatest years a wrestlers ever had.
And also, when we're talking about this, like a lot of that 2020 stuff is like with, clap crowds as well. So that like, cause his two matches with Okada this year, like if they had clap crowds, I think those are matches that are like, I think they're already all time matches, but I think those are matches like considered like at an even higher level with, the reactions they would have gotten. in front of a live audience. So yeah, I'm 2019 was, that was wild. Because like 2018 when he got hurt, I was like, bro, do you see what he was doing? Like if he had got healthy, would he have been able to do do a year similar to Okada and, Omega from a couple years ago? And I mean, you were just like, you rolled off immediately. You were like, oh no, you can't, no, that's not possible. And then like, fuck around next year and did it. Cause like, we had never seen no shit like that before. And then like, this fucking guy is doing it while not being in the main events. And it was like, this is wild. And he fucking did it. So yeah, that dude,
alien,
yeah,
different.
That dude is, yeah. I will say for this, like, I think he's a bigger star internationally because of the AEW stuff, or from a regular wrestling fan that's only seen clips and thinks he's
because he's got him upset now,
guy or whatever else. Like, I think they respect him more after seeing the stuff he was doing in those trios matches with Aussie Open in the trios tournament. I think they think like and also the match with Dax too as well, in the match with Orange Cassidy. Like, don't just be getting mad at gifts, man. Gotta watch this stuff in proper context. It definitely helps.
Rambo and Slam Pig, he says, whose podcast is CM Punk going to air his grievances with AEW and the Elite? If he offers to cover your legal expenses, don't believe it. I'll say this. He can go on Corey Graves' podcast. What's it called? Behind the Bell? After the Bell?
Who the fuck knows? All I know is when he shows
maybe
up,
he can go on one of those. Maybe he can go on one of those co-opted Ringer podcasts.
All
maybe he
I
can
know
do that.
is if he does that shit with Graves, the first thing I'm tweeting is Punk Rock is back.
Or dead.
No, because remember that man was like, after he got beaten at one UFC fight, it was like, you turn your back on your friends, that shit's not Punk Rock. I was like, you don't grow the fuck up. You sound like a fucking child. He doesn't be your friend anymore. That sucks, but like, why mention this now if he's losing a fucking fight? A shoot fight against some fucking professional fighter, you asshole.
Brewhaven, CM Punk should do Ryan Satin's podcast. My fucking God.
Holy shit. Oh shit. Money spent in that one. Wow.
Maybe the real loud yelling dude that be on the timeline, like maybe he can jump on his podcast.
What loud yelling dude? Which one?
He talking just horrible takes. I don't know his name. Usually about Seth Rollins or something like that. But yeah, Louis Dangor, what's he doing?
Is he a podcaster? Or he's just a bad tweeter.
I think bad tweeter.
Yeah, I only know him from Twitter.
Can he get a Conrad podcast?
Ooh. Welcome to Best in the World with CM Punk, and we are going to cover this Ring of Honor Summer of Punk. We're going to cover, the pipe bomb again.
Ugly.
Ugly. We're gonna cover I Dig Hot Shakes with your wife, April Mendez. There is he has a good 2-year run worth of podcast stuff he could talk about. Hell, he has a year worth of AEW stuff to talk about now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He could actually do his own podcast, and yeah, he needs to get on that Best in the World with CM Punk. Yeah.
Brewhaven, Punk becoming an old podcaster sounds so sad. I mean, he can just run the grift, the biggest anti-AEW grift there is. He can run if he wants.
Sooner or later, they all become old podcasters. Embrace it. It's gonna happen.
Rambones also says, if you had to make a quick snap decision at this point in the year, what would you say is the match of the year so far? Man,
my match of the year is Okada Ospreay from the G1 final. That'd be my match of the year.
I feel like I'm with you. Like either that or I don't know, maybe one of those trios matches that happened on Dynamite in that tournament. But it's one of those for me. Also, I liked a lot of the Noah stuff.
Okay. Yeah, so
kind of lost. There's a lot of stuff out there. I still have not seen FTR and Aussie Open. James has. So I don't know. A lot of people were talking about that. FTR and the Briscoes one was really good. I think I went 4 3/4 on that. Yeah, I don't know. I had to look, but just a quick decision, either the G1 final or one of the trios matches. I'll go with the United Empire versus the Elite.
You like that more than Shingo and Ospreay from the G1? Didn't you get that 5?
You know what? I like that one a lot too. So forgot about that one.
Yeah,
that's in there too.
Yeah, FTR, Young Bucks, Danielson, and Hangman 2.
Hangman.
Yeah, that'll probably be my favorite singles match in AEW this year. Yeah, I prefer Lucha Bros, Aussie Open, and Ospreay match more than the Elite one. But those two Aussie Open and Ospreay trios matches would be in the top 5.
Anarchy in the Arena, yeah.
That'd be high up there. That'd be high up there. I'm thinking of other stuff. Azumi Kid, like I fucking love. That's probably my favorite match of the year. Yeah, there's
I like Hangman Page and Takeshita.
Yeah, did you get that 5 or 4 3/4?
I get that 4 3/4.
Okay, yeah.
Bucks versus Lucha Bros on Rampage. Yes,
that's way up there.
5
Bucks
as well.
and FTR. Yeah, that's way up there too. I didn't like it as much as everybody else did, but like I thought that Sheamus and Walter was awesome.
Yeah.
Like I get it, like, you know, that 4.5 plus type of thing. Yeah. There's been a lot of. I haven't seen it yet, but like people have raved about like basically like the quote unquote double retirement match between retirement match between like Tsukasa Fujimoto and Arisa Nakajima, and I love those two. But like, I haven't seen it yet.
Buck swerving our glory and Hobbs and Starks. That was another one, 4 3/4 for me on that one. I did a lot of 4 3/4ing this year.
I'd have to go through, but I think those are the ones that immediately come to mind for me. Is there any? Oh well, you know, the cage match between Cody and Seth, of course. You know,
I went 4.5 on that. And I think that was a high rating, honestly. I think a lot of people. I think Dave gave it 5, but
he did give it 5. I'm like, man, you get the fuck out of here.
It was not. Sorry. It was a lot of. It was a lot of creative
I'm
protection going on.
I'm sorry. Skip ahead like 30 seconds, Floyd. Has anybody been grued 5-star matches more than Cody in the history of F4W?
Cody and Sammy.
No, not Cody. It's Cody.
Oh, okay. Well, I was saying him and Sammy got 5 stars too.
Wait, that ladder match got 5 stars?
It did.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm serious.
All right, man. Okay.
Rambo and Slampay. Outside of All Japan in the 90s and AEW in the current era, have there been any other promotions eras that had a strong tag team focus with multiple top-level teams for a sustained period of time? Not that I can think of. Like, you're not going to get the WWF doing it.
No.
WCW, I don't like, maybe like when the Outsiders were teaming up, but you know, that was kind of more like we're taking over the promotion. It wasn't necessarily about the tag team matches.
Yeah, and it wasn't like multiple tag teams really either.
Yeah,
like obviously, Harlem Heat around. You had Sting and Luger. You had the Steiners. You had the Outsiders, but like it wasn't like it wasn't like they were main eventing. Like they may one of them may have been like pulled to main, like you pull out a Sting, you pull out a Luger, you pull out a Hall or more actually a Nash to main event a pay-per-view, but it wasn't like Like Hogan was there and Hogan was in the main event regardless. Like he was the biggest star and rightfully so. He was in the main event all the time.
100 followers. Let's go. Thank you guys very much. Hold on. Just seeing it come through. Sweet Peachy Mellow. Shout out to Adam for making us aware. So yeah, man, that's awesome, man.
Appreciate it.
That is what's up. So yeah, besides that, I can't really think.
AEW in All Japan. Yeah, that's probably it. That's probably too. Like, I mean, I'm sure.
Shout out to Liz.
Look, I
like maybe Jim Crockett Promotions. Adam is saying in the comments. I don't have enough.
Yeah, like when he
used
used to do the Crockett Cup. When he used to do the Crockett Cup, probably. That wouldn't be bad. You know, at times NXT did, but they didn't sustain it for long. I feel like in a year or two we'll probably have whether or not we could say that for Stardom for real or not. Because like they're doing a really good job with like 2v2 tag teams right now.
Yeah, but that first day of the tag league is like. I had so much fun watching those tags, and it felt like a bunch of different teams that were just like, "Oh, this is cool."
And you know what I always tell you about their 2v2 tag teams. Like I normally don't like their 2v2 tags, right? Like, but like they, it seems like they're about to put it in place to like make it a big deal because they have you have Tam and Natsupoi as like an ace tag team, and then like I was looking at their tag league, and it's like, okay, so they got 4 previous champions besides they're actually in, and I don't think they've ever had like 4 previous tag champions like currently in a tag league with Mahime, Black Desire, FWC, and there's one other team I'm blanking on that was a former tag team champion. But like yeah, like it feels like they might be gearing up for that, but. Maybe we'll have that as another answer, but that's like a year down the line where we can actually say it definitively. AEW definitely is, they've killed it. And I can't really speak to places like Dragon Gate to tell you if like, what they've done. So, but yeah, probably like that Crockett Cup era, some bits of NXT, before they started just pulling every tag team out left and right. And then AEW and AJW. Do you think it's weird that like New Japan never had like some super killer like tag division that for any type of stamp?
You know what? You know why? You know what? Because I think historically the reason they don't is because those belts a lot of times go to foreigners.
Yeah.
And they don't keep them there long enough, or things like that. So, like, you can think back to Steiners having them and shit like that. And I don't know. Yuzuru Hart. So, shout out to him. He was like, "How do you think fans will receive the Elite if/when they return to AEW television?"
They'll be over everywhere but Chicago.
I don't even think that. Like, I think it'll be a microcosm of their.
I mean, they'll get some. Well, I mean, they'll get their warm welcome because, like, there's no like flat out like all or nothing proposition with Chicago. But like, they'll show up. You'll hear like a 25% smattering or 20% smattering of jeers and boos, and then the match will start happening, and it'll knock it the fuck off. But once the music hits, you'll get the little hums of that stuff. But like. But outside of that, like, they'll be happy to see them again and all that kind of stuff. I think the opposite effect would be like if CM Punk were to come back, he has to immediately turn heel. He'd have to immediately turn heel.
He's getting booed out the gym.
Right. He'd have to immediately turn heel. And he would make it work, but he would have to immediately turn heel once he came back if he were to come back.
I think the Elite, in their case, it would be like a microcosm of, like, their entire existence. Like, there's always a weird sect that will, not fuck with them for whatever reason that they'll tell themselves. And then, like 85 to 90% of everyone else will fuck with them. So,
hey, Black Saber, type in, the Dragon Gate match that you say is like a great tag. Who's in it? Was it like, I can't even say it's Masquerade. Masquerade is done with, but, like, tell me who was in it and I'll check it out. I'll try to check it out anyway. It's hard to get a hold of Dragon Gate shit.
So Brandon Candia says, if you're Triple H and you manage to get Punk, what nastiness are you subjecting him and his fans to?
Ooh. So, you're signing him and you're just going to torture. You're just going to fuck him over.
Sign him and fuck with him, I guess.
So the Vince McMahon play, not actually like act like an adult and try to like book better television or any of that stuff, huh? Okay.
So I would do it would be like a multi kind of fucking, right? I would definitely feed him to Bray Wyatt just to like pit those fans against each other to fuck with like his alignment and shit like that. I would eventually have Triple H and him on an on-camera promo together where Triple H is essentially saying, "So you came back." Like, and,
so you came back.
I would
CM Punk. I knew you come.
I would have Roman Reigns go over him like on not even at WrestleMania. I would do it like at a different pay-per-view. I would have him in the middle of the show at WrestleMania. Trying to think. I would have him. I would have him get.
This is nasty.
I would have him do a fight pit with Matt Riddle and basically show like there's a difference between your UFC and your martial arts and Matt Riddle's martial arts. See, like I'm not just thinking about things like throw him in the 24/7 division. I'm thinking about psychological things to fuck with him, like that UFC shit. I think that would be. And then I'd make him wrestle Walter and tell him to take the chops.
You're enjoying this way too much. This is a dude that was at one point your favorite wrestler, and now you're just like flat out like throw him out, fuck him.
They asked me if I was I was answering the question. If you're Triple H and you man to get him, what type of nastiness? Like if
you came up with this shit real, you came up with this shit real quick as if you've been thinking about things like this.
This is all off the dome, baby. Freestyle.
Okay, sure.
This is all off the dome.
Sure.
Look, I can give you more.
You weren't out here writing verses in your head. You sure about that?
No. This is freestyle. This is word surprise. This is supernatural. MC
right.
Juice style.
This is God gifted.
Yes. Oh man! And then
this is heaven sent.
Yes, give us more. I think you got to put him in there with Seth Rollins, and then like Seth Rollins wearing them ridiculous suits, but like then they do like weird shoot interviews on each other. Oh my god! And to top it all off,
no, you got to do. You haven't mentioned it yet. The real thing, you put him in WrestleMania, and you make that man job to the Miz.
Oh my! No! You make him lose to the Miz in Saudi Arabia. Turn it up!
Oh my god!
Or you have him lose to Cody, but the trick is Hunter beats him with the pedigree, and then Cody like just falls on top of him and pins him. There, and that's how you end his time in the territory. So, I think that would break their souls. It's like, oh, you want a WrestleMania main event? All right, we got something for you. Yeah. I don't even know if Punk would be able to get into the country in Saudi Arabia if he was, talking down like that. So they might be waiting for Punk.
No. When you say that kind of stuff about Saudi Arabia, you can get into the country. Your ass ain't getting out, bitch. Getting in's easy. Getting out's the hard part.
People are like, why does this plane no longer work? Oh. So yeah, man. Adam says New Japan just put a statement out about Carl Anderson. Yeah, I saw a tweet this week that had me kind of looking at New Japan like, man, my have times changed. So Reese Hayes, shout out to him. Don't think I've seen him before. He says, top 3 international stars AEW should try to lock down with contracts / all elite graphics outside of the obvious, being Takeshita and Bandito.
So we're talking about people that aren't signed to deals with other companies for the foreseeable future, right? Or are we just saying in general? How do you want to play it?
I'll say do it in general, but like I gotta say I don't really advocate for needing to see every wrestler in AEW, because I feel like as fans, we can enjoy these people in their environments, and the promotions can kind of stay strong. Like, just off the top of my head, I would be like, all right, if I could pick from anybody and it's like a dream thing, yes, I'll take Nakajima, like Katsuhiko Nakajima.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take Takumi Iroha, and I'll take El Hijo del Vikingo.
Okay, if I can take anybody, I mean, I'm taking Ospreay.
You do that, yep.
Like, obviously, I don't think it would happen because the politics of him coming to, you know, if there's any word or any, like, even a belief that, like, you know, AEW joint him, like, that you'll never see another Forbidden Door. But Sasha Banks, or sorry, Mercedes, and I'm trying to think of somebody else.
Oh, this Carl Anderson shit ain't real. They didn't put out the white logo with the King of Sports stuff. They put out the regular King of Sports logo. That's how you know that shit's like they're working a storyline. He's gonna come back and lose this shit at the Dome. I'm calling it now.
Okay, so yeah, I can't think of a third right now. If I was going to say, I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of a third. So I'll stick with two right now. I'll go with Ospreay and I'll go with Sasha.
Brian McLennan. I don't think I've seen him before. Looks like he doesn't follow us either. So he says, does AEW need the Young Bucks? Kenny and AEW can still be good for each other, but I haven't missed the Bucks. Have you missed any of them, and what do you want to see them all do next?
I've missed all of them. As far as does the company need any of them, the company doesn't need. It's shown that like they don't necessarily need anyone because they've survived so many injuries and people missing in action throughout this entire year, from Adam Cole to Kenny Omega again to the Young Bucks to Danielson to Moxley for 12 weeks to MJF. Like, you know, so the answer is really no. But like, it's called All Elite Wrestling for a reason.
I was going to say, I'm going to vehemently, like I understand those points, but I'm going to vehemently disagree with the notion that AEW doesn't need the Young Bucks. This company doesn't exist if it's not for Matt Jackson.
That is true.
Taking Tony Khan seriously. And they're only a part of, like, you know, the greatest matches in this company's history. If it's your personal preference that, you know, you don't miss them and all that, I'm sorry. Like, anytime you can have the greatest tag team of all time there, I think you need them there, especially if they're ingrained in this promotion as they are. This isn't just, these aren't some Johnny-come-latelys that have been, you know, whatever. But, like, they're the flagship tag team. Like, I understand that there are people that are enjoying FTR this year and they'll probably win tag team of the year and all that. But
they'll win it.
The flagship tag team of this promotion has been and will continue to be until, like, otherwise noted is the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
And
like,
as far as, like, what I want to see
like
them do next, wrestle.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Rich. Go ahead. Say again.
Yeah, I was going to say, as far as like what I want to see them do next, wrestle, because that's where they're the best at.
Yeah, like they're the only tag team in the company that like is a consistent draw. There's no knock against FTR. There's no knock against Swerve in Our Glory. There's no knock against any of the tag teams. Like you know, even, I mean, hell, you look at the Acclaim and how well they've done, the Marcells they've done of late. Like, as far as a consistent thing where, like, they're on and they, you know, they draw ratings, they help draw houses, they help.
Can I address one thing, James, too?
Sorry?
Can I address one thing, too?
Go ahead.
Because I've seen, like, a lot of, like, dumb idiots, like, running with this talking point. So, the trios matches that the Elite were having, like, a couple of them lost viewers. Like, you know, there was like a little dip, or, you know, 100,000 viewers, 200,000 viewers in a segment, something like that. And people have decided to use this as proof, like, that these guys are not some type of business movers, some type of draws or anything. I just want to say, if you're on Twitter doing this, and there are people that were, I think, trying to reply to me and bait me into like arguing with them that I just flatly ignore because they're stupid. What I would like you to do is
what about the other stuff in regards to
exactly, man. Like what about the history of this company? Like what are we doing here? Like,
this is so stupid.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The Elite lost 200,000 viewers against Serena Williams' last match in the U.S. Open. I'm sorry that people clicked over to see the last match of one of the greatest athletes in the history of this country. I'm sorry it was head to head with those guys. If we need to throw them out on the street for that, I want to know what promotion we're talking about. Like, they're acting like 2021 never happened on the Elite's watch, as Black Sabre Jr. is saying.
Like,
what?
The things that I see people talk about that I just think are like, okay. When people talk about, like, or try to downplay CM Punk as a top draw in AEW and point out certain things, I'm kind of like, all right, well then who's number 2 then? MJF? Okay, who's number 3? And then go down the list. And it's like, that doesn't mean that this person's record is perfect. It just means their record is better than the other contemporaries you can point at or point to. So I just find it like weird when people do this one thing of pointing out this one thing, or that's a flaw for one person or the next person on their thing for, whatever data point they want to look at, and then ignore the overwhelming positives in every other regard. Normally, it's so weird. You could just say you don't like this person and move on with your fucking day. I say that about people all the time.
Like the lying, the recontextualizing of like, yeah, man, I can't wait till Elite's back, making people miserable. So I didn't know if you had anything else to say.
Hold on, someone said that Heyman wasn't a draw. That's fucking stupid. God damn it.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think that he's a draw at the level of the top of the company as individual acts. However, to say that he's not a draw would be fucking foolish. Like, I would say the undercard of some of the stuff that he was main eventing on pay-per-views were like mostly driven by CM Punk at times. But like, these cards overwhelmingly are not built off of one person. It's built off of 3 or 4 big matches that you really want to fucking see. So like, if he happened to main event, then that's a feather in his cap. I'm not saying that you need to then compare him to fucking 96 Hogan. That'd be fucking stupid. We're in a different era. Like, if people want to compare these numbers in the same era, like, as if like this industry, as if like any other entertainment industry doesn't look at numbers and contextualize them differently across different eras. Like, I'm sorry. Like, nobody's gonna go fucking diamond anymore. And we've accepted that, right? Like, so why, because of streaming, so why are people acting like, now that there's like 40,000 goddamn channels in YouTube, in the internet, high-speed internet, and almost everywhere in this country, that like people are going to tune in and watch, like 5 million people are going to tune in and watch American Professional Wrestling. That's dumb. Like, why do people do this? Oh, and there's fucking Netflix and Hulu and all the other streaming stuff. Like, the segment is fragmented. Like, unless you are NFL football, don't bring these numbers to me and just talk about it this way. Or even if you're fucking NBA, outside of that, do not like try to do that. That's dumb.
If you're gonna do that, like, bring us numbers like over like a sustained amount of time to where it's like
that's actually like comparable in eras.
Yeah.
Don't compare any of this shit to goddamn 89 Flair. That's stupid. Give me something from like in the last 2 or 3 years. And then, like, give me the rate of, like, the numbers decreasing because of how much stuff is fragmented over time. I can at least appreciate those. We can use those numbers in comparison, right? But, like, this whole thing is new with AEW existing.
Last question, or second to last question, from Craig at PW Musings. He said, will we ever see a top-of-the-card Japanese-style round-robin tournament in a major U.S. promotion? I can't see it. And I think it's just based on like advertising and the amount of shows, like I don't think they do enough shows to really make it like feasible to like, you know, TNA tried this years ago. I think it was the Bound for Glory series, and they ended up fucking up the math, and there was like, oh god, they had to do a bunch of weird shit like to make it work at the end because like you had to account for injuries, and I don't see Triple H doing anything like this. If anyone was going to do it, it's TK, except I don't think that's like the way he likes to protect people. I don't think he wants to segment a lot of the roster, and they don't have the TV time for it.
Right. That's the main thing. And also like, that's what I get to. Like, if you were going to try to do a certain thing like that, then like it's going to take a long time, and like it's going to take a lot longer than like a 2-month tournament or tour would do to get the job done in Stardom or New Japan. Like it would take a whole season, and you know, I don't think that the average fan has the patience to sit through, you know, all these round robin tournaments have some, you know, stinker matches inherently in them, right? And you can obviously put that, you know, second and, you know, third on a card or on a 2-hour show and be done with it. But like, I think people were over time will lose patience and grow to resent some of those stinkers and like not appreciate like the bangers they get, and then ultimately like feel like the person that wins the tournament absolutely has to win the title, as opposed to like the proposition of you win the Rumble, you win the G1, or you win the Grand Prix. Like, it's, you know, late, or, you know, in most situations, it's not 100%, you know, guarantee that you will become the champion. Sometimes your ass gets stopped, right? Like, so, I think that, it's really, I think that you're asking a lot of a fan base to tune in every week and diligently follow that sort of thing over and over and over in that kind of way. And even, you know, people talk about like WWE is just all hardcores or whatever else, but like, look, we've all sat through and watched you know, these whole tournaments, whatever else, and like that's a tough ask even for the hardest of hardcores, which we are. Yeah. So like, I just don't think that like the collective American wrestling fan base or AEW fans in general have the actual patience to sit through that thing. Even if they could get it, you know, shorter or whatever else. Like, I just think that they're kind of like, they kind of, you know, would dig, you know, the eliminate tournaments, I think are, you know, way more palatable.
Yeah. And those are usually like really well booked and usually turn out like, you know, they produce a lot of good matches. So, yeah. So last question, comes from our boy, the JML. Shouts out to JML, run the Hall of Fame news tracker or voting tracker stuff. It's Hall of Fame season. He says, which has a better chance of happening? Liv Morgan being a winner or Sasha Banks actually wrestling in Japan?
Sasha in Japan.
This breaks my heart. Liv Morgan being a winner.
Not gonna happen, man. It's not gonna happen.
I don't think Sasha has that dog in her like that. She'll tease everybody about it. She'll go over there and she'll roll around on the mat and act like she wants to do it. Look, at the end of the day, I don't think she wants that life.
This is what I'm gonna say to you. Just because they've wrestled like that in the main event in some of those promotions does not mean that like they'll wrestle her like that. Like, once upon a time, there were lots of guys that were coming over to Japan and wrestling, and they weren't out here getting their fucking dome pieces cracked back like that either. So like there are accommodations made. So we can't just act like
this is not a question of toughness. This is a question of what does Sasha Banks want out of pro wrestling, which I would imagine is big money, big spotlight, and probably something she's very comfortable with. And I think she'll play around with the fans. Like, she took a picture with Miyu Yamashita the other week.
They were in Spain, right? They just happened to run each other in Spain because like Miyu was up there for a match or for like a couple of shows or whatever else, and then like she just came back.
Yeah. Think she'll do the stuff there, but I can't see it happening ever. But
I still would.
But
take
Liv
Sasha
Morgan being a winner.
That's why I'm still taking Sasha to Japan. I
don't know how I've arrived here. I don't know how I've arrived here.
I don't know either.
We should just move on. I'm distraught.
Real quick, scrolling back up. Black Saber said, we were talking about like like a G1 style thing. Yeah, there was a cruiserweight deal in NXT in 2020 with like Swerve and Kushida and El Hijo del Fantasma and who else was in it? Drake Maverick. It was 6 people and it was 2 blocks, so it didn't last long at all. It was 1, 2, 3. It was 7 matches. So that I don't even know if you necessarily count that. And it was for the interim cruiserweight title because they couldn't let your boy in at the time because of COVID. What was his name? Devlin.
Yeah. You know what? This Carl Anderson thing might be real. We'll see. He said they've been trying to negotiate with him in the past couple of days, but hasn't got a response. So I'll just read the thing here. So thank you for supporting New Japan Pro Wrestling. Early morning Japan time on October 20th, never openweight champion Carl Anderson posted a video on social media indicating that he would not make his advertised commitment on November 5th in Osaka. If you guys didn't see that video, it looked like there was some in-character jests going on. So, I don't know. But he said they announced his match with Hikuleo for October 4th, despite comments from Gallows on the contrary. In Anderson's video, the booking was made through the appropriate channels and with Anderson's expressed approval. However, after the match's announcement, both Gallows and Anderson would appear on the October 10th edition of WWE's Monday Night Raw broadcast. This led to WWE announcing a match with both men for their Saudi Arabia event on November 5th, in direct conflict with Anderson's prior commitment. New Japan has for the past several days attempted to negotiate with Anderson, but has not been met with a response. Should Anderson decide to renege on his scheduled championship match, he will be required to vacate the never openweight championship and return the title to New Japan Pro Wrestling immediately. New Japan Pro Wrestling holds its champions to the highest standards of professionalism and sincerely apologizes to fans for any disappointment or inconvenience caused by this matter. What are they fucking around for? If this is real, right?
Just strip him.
Strip him. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What dollar has Carl Anderson drawn for New Japan?
And it also it flies in the face of what they've done historically. They take the belts off people all the time for this. They took the belt off of Moxley, the U.S. title of Moxley, because he couldn't get into town for a fuck because a typhoon was in the way, a hurricane.
Yeah.
Right. And then people were. Remember when people were speculating that Tony Khan with all his money was generating typhoons? Yes, they're coming to fucking Japan. This is wild. Man, just strip and move on with it. Maybe it's a part where he still has the belt. Maybe it's why they're him and Han about this because they need the belt back. I don't know. But outside of that, just take the fucking title from him.
Yeah, he does have the belt.
Do they not have a second one?
Is New Japan broke?
Well, fuck. Look, a lot of promotions don't actually have a replica belt. So I don't know if they have a second never belt or not.
I better do something. Shit.
Well, that's true.
So that is. Thank you guys for the questions. That was awesome segment. We'll bring that back a little more often.
When the leaves start rustling, the pumpkins start plumping, and the scarecrows start crowing, you heed the call of fall, because you eat, sleep, and drink pumpkin at Dunkin'. So take your pick of pumpkin with delicious muffins, munchkins, and donuts, and pair them with a classic pumpkin spice signature latte or the ultra smooth pumpkin cream cold brew, topped with pumpkin cream cold foam, all so you can fall harder. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Terms apply.
Right now, Amazon is offering some amazing extra perks that come with a job offer. If you start a warehouse job, you can get a $1,000 sign-on bonus. That means you start earning a paycheck right away, plus you get extra cash to use before the holidays. Applying is so easy, you don't even need an interview. It's never been so rewarding to start an hourly job that's close to home. So what are you waiting for? To join the team today, visit Amazon.com/sign-on bonus. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Dynamite Tuesday, Title Tuesday. So they have 4 championship matches on there. None of them changed. But
I didn't even think about that part. I normally think about shit like that, but I didn't even.
I was shocked. After the show, I was like, bro, none of the titles changed. What the fuck? Like, I was like, all right. Got me. Like.
Oh, the fuck! I watched this four titles. Not a goddamn change. What are we doing here? Okay, go ahead, man.
Yeah. So like, but really good show. I love this show. I was you know, they only had 4 matches, but a lot of stuff on this show. Opened up with a trios match with Death Triangle defending the title against Best Friends, and including Orange Cassidy, and Death Triangle ended up getting the win. This is, you know, your just awesome trios match to open the match. There was a part where Pac wanted to cheat, you know, and you know, basically come out with the hammer. Ray Phoenix was like, "We don't do that shit. Like put that shit away. Like that's not us. Like we not down with that." So they ended up retaining the belts. There was I was wondering, like, you know, what's the deal here? Because, you know, Cassidy had just won the All Atlantic last week. They got the belts on the line there. So Death Triangle did keep the championships. A little bit of dissension tease here. And they, you know, I don't know if this is like, you know, on the heels of a lot of people like calling for Phoenix and Pentagon to really get like thrust like into higher positions, but one way or another, you know, give us a little cool story to pay attention to.
Yeah, great match in Tony Khan. I can't zoom. I don't have the zoom thing, but you stop this shit right now. One of the very few things that keeps me going with AEW right now is Death Triangle over the last couple of years. Don't you dare break them up. I love them. They're one of my favorite acts in the world. Don't you dare break them up. That's all I got to say.
I would like to see all 3 of these guys as singles.
They can still. Why can't they all be together and be singles?
Doesn't seem to work. I mean, I think they tried that with Babyface Inner Circle, and then it just, you know, and Pinnacle, and it just, you know.
I'm sorry. Say those teams again. Who did
I say? Pinnacle, and then the Inner Circle.
Who's the 3rd best wrestler in Inner Circle?
Like the version that I'm talking about, probably Santana.
Who's the 3rd best wrestler in Pinnacle?
Dax, I think. No. Wardlow, or no, it's one of the FTR guys.
Okay. Are they better than Pentagon?
There are limitations on Pentagon, it seems like. So, I don't know. So, but after that,
hey, I'm sorry. Guided by the Moon. Your priorities are all fucked up.
He says, I need you
to pull it together. I get it, but you need to pull it together.
More than I want to wake up tomorrow, sir. Tomorrow is in 22 minutes from now. I need you to still be here. You know, not for the sake of your life, but these numbers on this stream. No,
oh man,
right? Just kidding.
Oh my god.
But yeah.
Hey man, we need some eyes on this. We need some eyes on this stream. I know you fuck around and die on us. God damn.
So they showed a video package last year with Moxley and Hangman.
You sound like you run a big tech company right now.
So they did a video package of Moxley and Hangman footage from last year. Hangman knocking Mox off the ladder. Then showed Mox like breaking first. Essentially, they were head to head. Then they showed Shivani backstage, and basically they had Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter and Rebels. Said one of them is going to be the Women's World Champion as Tony time is over. They rolled into a Tony Storm and Carl Cheetah match for the AEW Interim Women's Championship. This was awesome. I had a lot of fun watching this. This was like the kind of wrestling that I think has made this division really strong over the past 10 weeks or so. I was unsure of the result here. But Storm ended up retaining. I gotta say, man, I'm not a fan of her finish. That Storm's,
just smoking somebody with a power driver.
Yeah, it's like, all right, like she used to do essentially the tire driver joint and flip people over, and that was the Storm Zero. Then when she came to AEW, it's like this super quick power driver.
But that's the thing. It was all before she got to WWE, Storm Zero was always the power driver, and then she got to WWE, and they said we don't want you doing power driver, so she came with something else, but she kept the name. But I will say this, like it is.
I just lost your audio. Oh, there you are.
It is. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay. But I will say, like, it is kind of it feels more like a flash finish than like a flash knockout than like you abruptly finish somebody off and now you're about to hit them with the move to knock out the last of their fire. So I get where you're coming from. It doesn't feel as definitive.
Yeah. She's got to got to make more like kind of impactful. Yes, drop someone on their head harder and slower, I guess.
No, she needs to drop somebody. Like, okay, she hits the hip attack in the corner. She puts that ass on him, and then like she fires up, and the crowd recognizes that she's about to lift them up, and then gives someone the opportunity to, if need the match continue, to escape, and instead of just like move, oh, she just put them between her legs and dropped them on her head in a split second, and the match is over. You realize I get what you mean. I don't mind it as much because I'm used to it with her, but I get what you mean.
So after that, we had the post match. And Jamie Hayter and Rebel came down, and Britt made her entrance with a Steelers jersey, which is, I think they were in Cincinnati, yes. So she was not popular.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden, Saraya's music hit, and the crowd did a polite clap, and she tackled Britt, and they were brawling and all that. And then, they continued to beat on Storm. All of a sudden, James, it was time. It was time.
Okay, Rio, you get it. Yeah, yes, I was happy to see her. She came. Look, for
the return on a night that NXT was head to head, trying to recapture the feeling. Tony Khan made the one phone call he needed to make. He needed Riho to restore the feeling.
So I think my favorite part about this, I watched this today. So things I was spoiled on. I heard about Paige getting hurt. I heard some allusion that MJF made towards he wanted to kill himself, and that it made Riho smile, which I was like, that's a weird tweet. And Riho was back, and like, I didn't know what Riho was wearing when she came until today, but the fact that she came out, I'm glad that they have not broken her soul about like the things that people say about her or whatever else. Because like, she came out and she looked like she looked her age, as opposed to like dressing up like, like some of the Joshi, for some reason, like they'll dress in like Natsupoi, they'll dress with like this shit with these big jabot, like big bows and everything, and look and weird, or they'll dress like schoolgirl, not like schoolgirls, but like dress like, I don't know, like it's like a cultural thing where like they dress differently than us, but like it's more reminiscent of what you think of like a teenager will wear. Like she came out like dressed like her like a teenager, and I was like, I'm glad ain't nobody like broke her soul. She dressed how she wants to dress. She came out and like did her dive, and then did you make that? Did you make the silhouette thing, or was
no? I saw it on Twitter. I saw it on Twitter, and it was like she got like triple the reaction that Soraya got, which was fucking hilarious.
You think that was it?
Maybe more.
Yeah, I think it was more.
Yeah, like she came out and wow, Natsupoi be dressing like a Southern granny. That's great.
That's exactly who I was thinking of when I was talking about the big bows and shit. Natsupoi be look for those rich. You know who Raku is in Tokyo Joshi Pro, right?
Yes.
Natsupoi on her off days be dressing like Raku, except not yellow, just white or something. Like it is like. I don't get it. I don't know what it is, but like it's wild to me. But
and
yeah,
we got the return of all the Riho memes. We were pulling out all the old stuff. I'm sure she made Paul Levesque, grab his chest when he saw the sight of Riho again. Last time, she did damage to the NXT brand. So she was back. She runs out. That was a big dive. If you guys have not seen the Riho silhouette, it is quite a sight to behold.
Put it on the screen for them if you can.
Yeah, let me see. Go ahead, Phil, for me real quick.
Yeah, so I was happy to see Riho. I believe that it looks like she's going to be teaming with Toni Storm, and that's fun to see because, like, if you look at like since Toni Storm came back, like her in the tag team stuff with Thunder Rosa, like her tagging and her wrestling, like quite frankly, like Joshi wrestler she's familiar with, like that seems to be the key to success, like for her. And like I think they've done very well with Toni Storm being on TV wrestling like basically every single week. Like she has somehow managed to like make this thing work without feeling like, without getting exhausted on seeing her every single week wrestling. I think she's the first woman wrestler in AEW to ever accomplish that, quite frankly. Would I be wrong in saying that?
I don't think so. Like she's been like really solid. I don't know if you guys can see everything on there. Hold on, I got it. I'm gonna expand this thing here. So you guys can see it right there, Riho. But yeah, man. Yeah, that was glad Riho's back. She's gonna be wrestling Jamie Hayter next week. Rematch of their match from earlier this year. That was pretty good as Jamie kind of builds some momentum. So we'll see how that goes. So we got a video package highlighting the Kingdom showing up. They debuted on Rampage, and then all of a sudden we heard words from Wardlow and Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe hit him with a good line at the end. He was like, "There's 6 million ways to die, but y'all still picked the wrong one," which is pretty great. And then after that, Renee was backstage with FTR, and they did FTR-like things. They just kind of stammered on, and they ran down their resume, said there was more hardware they want. They said they want the AEW tag team titles. They were interrupted by Swerve in Our Glory. They said FTR is putting their priorities ahead of AEW for too long. Instead of running around everywhere else. Swerve told Dax nice fingernails. If y'all didn't know, like Dax put up this post where he's letting his daughter paint his fingernails. And then he seemingly made up like this imaginary story about like people in the gym looking at him and stuff like this. I'm like, bro, this never happened. Stop.
God damn it.
So
stop.
They made number one contenders match for next week. FTR versus Swerve in Our Glory. And man, the agendas that were going on when Swerve in Our Glory had these belts, that just people wanted FTR to win them off them so bad. Mm-hmm. I feel like FTR is going to win this match. Am I rooting for that? No. I could go for Swerve in Our Glory versus The Acclaim 3. I will say it right now, though. I do not think that FTR will ever have all 4 belts. I just think there's too much politically at play to tie them up with all 4. I just don't think, unless something dramatically changes, right? My current feeling today, that will not happen. So if they win those titles, like, they're going to be getting rid of some of the other titles first. Yep.
Okay.
A lot of people are speculating, this could be where Swerve fully turns on Keith Lee. There could be something like that. Any speculation on that, James?
I think that they're going to get them all, and I think that they'll then lose them after they lose the AEW World Tag Titles. I think they're actually going to get that, 4 belt thing. Otherwise, what was the point of ever, collecting all the belts for them, not to get their actual, the company that, more or less put this all together for them, they're not going to give them their actual belt? That'd be fucking weird.
Black Sabre Jr. says they do have a AAA title match December 28th. Nice of them to defend those belts. He says he thinks they'll lose the belts there. They are facing Dragon Lee and Dralistico, I believe. So FCR doing the Lucha stuff.
Yes,
so.
And I forgot who was cutting the promo at the time. They called him, was it Dralistico instead? Botched his name. I was like, okay, all right, whatever, man.
They haven't defended AAA belt since March. Good God.
Is this like that one Dean Ambrose US title run where
exactly like that.
Wow.
Imagine walking around with the pieces of tin. After that, we got Shivani and Regal in the ring, and they ended up having this long segment talking about, it was another villain origin story for MJF. I didn't like the first half of this. And then the second half of MJF's promo, I started liking it. And then I thought Regal was the best that he's been. I feel like this is the first time he's offered something of value since some of those early video packages for Blackpool Combat Club. Just more about WWE being the destination of shit, and just this, the keep putting it over
stuff. Yeah.
Keep putting over them as the place you want to be. You're inherently making AEW out to be second best. I feel like if you're going to mention WWE, you need to do it in a different way. He did bring it around at the end of the promo saying AEW is his company now, and Regal's coming back while he's there. So MJF talks about, when he was 19, he was informed by his trainers that, he got some extra work at the Barclays Center. They were introduced to Regal, and they had tryout matches in front of Arn Anderson, Malenko, Pierce, and Regal. He said Regal pulled them aside to a separate room and told me he had 3 minutes to sell himself to Regal, whose jaw hit the floor after what he heard. MJF said Regal promised him a job, but it never happened. When Regal found out he was 19, telling him he was too young. So I guess the story behind that, I think Dave had mentioned that, is they didn't like to hire people at that age because if the young folks were, they would drink with the people above 21 and be a bad look. Then the crowd did a "you fucked up" chant, and said MJF basically told Regal the names that he got hired, like Claudio Castagnoli, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley. Regal told him to send matches, and his progress after the first month, but after the third month, Regal sent MJF a promo that MJF had never forgotten, saying Regal wasn't impressed with his acting skills. And MJF said Regal wasn't one of the high class talents Regal said MJF wasn't one of the high class talents he wanted to look at. Regal squandered his dreams, and he was acting like he was going to cry. And he pulled up this email that Regal sent them. He said it made him want to kill himself. He said if he did that, all the naysayers would win. But now in 2022, the tables will turn. Regal's an old man who got fired while attaching the talent to get a job in AEW, while MJF's the generational talent. And the crowd started getting into it and cheering for MJF and booing, Regal when he picked up the microphone. And then Regal just
blacked out on that, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was like, I was like, yo, I was like, what the fuck? Like at first, like it was like I didn't like this. Like I didn't care about your WWE sob story. I feel like so many people have those. It's just like, okay, it's your turn to tell this shit.
One, everybody has that. Two, Regal's been back since March. You've been back for over a month. You've been interacting with Yuta this whole time. You never brought this up before. All of a sudden, Regal's talking about something that I don't even think involves him at the time. This is your time you decide to run out there and be like 38 mad. All of a sudden, at random, be straw man mad guy while you're spewing your heart out. It was like, this ain't the time for this, man. Like, it didn't match up. So, like, and then Regal fixed basically all of that and made sense and tied back to, like, the Yuta stuff, the Shivani stuff. He made it all make sense, all of what all this has been for the months. Like, because MJF wasn't doing that for me. And I was like, okay, this is well done. But, like, you know, some of the stuff I feel like he cuts at times, it leaves me cold. But, like, this was all setting up for Regal to put it all together. And I thought Regal did this fantastically.
Yeah, Regal said he got in the business when he was 16 years old. He saw something at MJF and wanted to light a fire under him. He screamed at MJF saying, if you held onto that email for all those years, that you had it easy. Every day you need to practice to become the best. Before he was born, Regal was getting interviewed by Tony Schiavone. He never put his hands on someone like him. Essentially, he said he'll only like take off on, you know, someone between the ropes. And MJF let Regal down because he took shortcuts, hiring people to do his dirty work, using the diamond ring. Regal then did that sting and turned around, essentially said, if you're really the devil, do it right now. MJF looked like he was going to do it, but then he bitched up, and Regal was basically like, yeah, you got more, still a long way to go. And then he left. This was an incredible segment. You know, top to bottom, or not, I wouldn't say top to bottom because I didn't like the beginning of MJF stuff, but
I'm with you. I feel that like Regal filled in the blanks that makes MJF stuff. Then, instead of being like, "What the fuck?" it's like, "Oh, he answered every question that MJF left you with." So I thought that like it does come together. I thought it did come together to make a great segment. Yeah.
Yep. So, like, you know, by all this is going, like, they've been building up this Moxley and MJF shit. He's been lurking over the guy for weeks. So, you know, at least this time, this is a change in philosophy than what they weren't allowed to do or couldn't do the last pay-per-view when they were announcing it the week before and shit. This is a little bit more like the traditional AEW that we've come. It's like all laid out, heavy story, and leading to your big match. They showed a video package introducing the ROH title stuff. So during the trios match, they did mention the Elite on commentary. Tony Schiavone is the first time that they mentioned the Elite. Since then, CM Punk was in the video package for the ROH stuff.
Yep. So was Cody.
So that was pretty funny. So they showed a quick introduction for Dalton Castle. Before that, we got Renee Paquette backstage with the Acclaimed Billy Gunn, who welcomed Renee to AEW and said it's title versus trademark with the Acclaimed versus Tony Nese and Josh Woods. That was okay. And if the Acclaimed win, they get the scissor again. And, you know.
So childish, man. Like
we scissor again.
It's funny.
So then we go to Renee earlier in the day. She's sitting down with Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta. And I was wondering when this was going to happen. And it finally did. So Danielson said his last week loss at Jericho, you know, with the right guidance, he could be the best wrestler ever. As Danielson's selling out continually about Daniel Garcia like this, just hopping on the man's jock. Wheeler Yuta is just like, man, fuck this. Like in snaps. And like, yo, like I had to go through hell to get in the Blackpool Combat Club. I bled. I did all this shit. But like, fucking Claudio agrees with me. Like, how couldn't you fucking see this coming? I could answer that for Wheeler Yuta. Daniel Bryan was a dumb babyface for a long time in WWE. You just don't shake that immediately. But he said, we saw this shit coming a mile away. Everybody, but you saw it. And he walked off. He was disappointed in his hero. It's just like, why the fuck do you want him when I'm right here?
Yeah.
This story gets better and better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wheeler Yuta, get off his dick. essentially.
It's almost like well, you see relationships like that before. You know how that is. It's like, why do you want this fucking new toy when I've been here this whole time? Hold it down.
Yeah, like there are a lot of relationships that look like that. But like, hey, like Danielson was talking a little bit too loud about that woman that he saw on the screen. While his wife was there. That's not what you do, sir. But we got Chris Jericho against Dalton Castle. I had no.
I just was it March when he joined BCC?
Yeah, something like that.
All right, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. I was gonna say 11 months. I was gonna do like 11 months. I sacrifice. I should have left your ass a long time ago. Sing the hook, Wheeler.
Wheeler's not gonna cry.
Yes, a white man singing out there playing sad and alone by himself singing that Mary J. Blige. Yes, I want to see that in the next movie I see.
Because Bryan Danielson is not worth his tears.
Oh shit!
Yes, should have left your ass 1,000 times. Yes,
absolutely.
Chris Jericho and Dalton Castle. Pleasant surprise of a match for me. I think I liked this more than you did. But Black Labor Jr. said this was an acid trip of a wrestling match in the best way possible. I was into this. I know there was a lot of foolishness and chicanery.
Tons of smoke and mirrors. I didn't necessarily hate the smoke and mirrors. I just recognized they were going, and like the crowd was into it. So I was like, I'll allow it. I didn't hate it, but I was like, it didn't move me. But like people loved it, so I was like, okay, cool, whatever's worked for the crowd.
I think they got one near fall that the people bought on.
Was it the Banger Ring?
I believe so.
Okay.
And that always works for me. That's like, all right, that's the sign of like, if it's a title defense, like a no question one, can you at least get them to bite? And they did. And and Adam says Jericho versus Castle was awesome live. They were throwing the boys over the top rope and dives. Jake Hager was out there with the bucket hat and snapping over the hat.
Yes.
Bro, I was fucking, bro. Hager's like, he's so fucking entertaining.
Goofball.
Like, bro, like whoever told him to start acting like this, like, bravo.
Probably
give them a raise. Fuck. But yeah, man, I'm just gonna start the agenda now. Chris Jericho has packed and shipped Jonathan Gresham multiple times with the same opponents. Look it up.
So we're talking about Bandito and what else?
Bandito, Claudio,
yes. But the Claudio match was like not that long. But yeah, sure. So what other match? Who else?
The Bandito match.
When did Bandito have a match on Ring of Honor with? Not Ring of Honor, but on.
It was the main event of Supercard of Honor.
Oh, I didn't see that, so I missed that. My bad.
It was a Bandito carry job that may have been 3 1/4.
So I gave this match 3. Battle of the Belts between Gresham and Castle, I gave 3 1/4. So, but you've somehow watched more fucking Ring of Honor Gresham matches than I have this year. So that's all. So that's
look at that.
Go figure.
Yeah, Jericho packs him up. Jericho continues the run here. He gets the win. And clean with
he missed the connection on the elbow, but whatever. Get him out. Look, don't get him back up and do it again. Just pin him. Get him the fuck out of here. Like this is the best I've seen Castle like physically since his back went out on him.
And I think they kind of nailed his presentation too. He got a big entrance, like it, I thought it was pretty entertaining.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. You could make him work as a, I don't know, type of low level, some low level non-champion face or whatever else. But like, asking him to do more than that at this point, I don't think it could work on a regular roster. I'm talking about Ring of Honor. I'm not talking about AEW. And AEW, he'd be a prelim dude, but I
shout out to Frankie resubscribing for 5 months.
I just think it's weird. It's like, okay, so he could have an entertaining match if you like hire 20 motherfuckers to like be ringside to like get the match. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to think like the cost benefit of like hiring those people just to get a match over. And it's like, bro, just.
I mean, they used to do this for Cody.
Are you talking about the Nightmare Family?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. But Cody was still having better matches at time most of the time than this match. But you know,
well, he didn't have a broken back.
So that's my question, right? So like Jerry Lynn seemingly looks like he's finna wrestle. We'll get to that.
I wouldn't go that far, but I mean, he got dropped on his shit by Jericho. Was Jerry Lynn a former ROH champion? Can someone look this up?
He was in the show. He was in that champion opening. That's why I think he's going to wrestle.
I don't know. It could happen. Let's see what he's got.
My question is, like, if you can get cleared to wrestle when he has he has a fusion, right? Neck fusion. Like,
I don't know Jerry Lynn's injury history.
Bad neck.
Gotcha.
Or at least I know for sure he has bad neck. I don't know what else ails him, but I know for sure it's a bad neck. So like, I'm thinking of stuff like, so at this point in like 2020, 2022, we have now like turned like the broken neck into like the torn ACL of our day in pro wrestling. So it's like, if that's the case, why the fuck can't we figure out what's wrong with Dalton Castle's back so he can stop coming out here with this fucking back brace looking bad? I don't know.
Coming out here with Larry Bird's back, bitch.
Bro,
Steve Nash's back. So they announced Rampage. I watched Rampage this week. I'll give you a quick review. Nothing you really need to see. The Claim title match was pretty fun. Hook got a quick win on Ari Daivari. There was a 3-way match. Orange Cassidy, Roosh, and Preston Vance. 10 did not look great. Orange Cassidy was really over. Willow Nightingale ended up taking on Layla Gray. Penelope Ford, she substituted for. And James, it is official. Willow Nightingale is all elite.
I saw. You told me, and I celebrated. I had a reply, or I had a quote tweet to, I guess, Tony Khan or AEW's All Elite tweet, like, tears of joy. Very happy to see this young woman be over. Every time I ever seen her in front of a Ring of Honor crowd or a AEW crowd, and I remember you saying like, yeah, but it seems like the plan is for her for Ring of Honor. I was like, well, given these reactions, like, fuck Ring of Honor. And this might have been like right before Tony Khan actually bought it, but it was like, well, what the hell? So glad to see that like she's going to be in All Elite Wrestling. I did not see the match a few weeks ago she had with Jamie. I heard people really like that.
Yes, you gotta watch that.
But yeah, like, glad she's there. We need like some over baby faces, and like, she actually, she had a match set for her in Tokyo Joshi Pro. They ended up not falling through. I think it was
she's going to be there 29th.
Yeah, she's going to be there on the 28th and 29th or whatever else, and she's going to be wrestling like 2 shows at least. So like, I think she's going to be in probably like the Gaijin, like faces like Miyu, like on Miyu Anabe on like 1-4 probably. So for the International Princess Champion. So like, I think things are looking up for her or whatever else. And like, she's a good wrestler over, all that kind of stuff. And like, happy for her and can't wait to see more of her. And like, I want to see her mix it up with Jade and Nyla and Like, I want to see her, more Jamie stuff, and I want to see where she can end up, like, being in this division when it seems like it actually has, like, another lease on life right now.
Yeah. Always need people that are over. They had her in the ring with Shivani, gave him like a big hug and all that. I think Britt Baker did something on Twitter that was pretty cute. She basically, I think, retweeted the hug and was like, "Don't be hugging Tony Schiavone like that." So that was, market territory right there. So, but after that, we got Jon Moxley versus Hangman Page, the AEW World Championship. And James, I gotta say, this was a hell of a match. They started this kind of at a weird time during the show to where it was like they did this big ass brawl on the outside of the ring to where Hangman Page ended up turning Cincinnati into the Budokan Hall.
I know what you're talking about. I saw the match.
Yes. And
yeah, like the apparatus thing he jumped off of. Yeah.
Off that shit. I lost my mind. They were still brawling around the arena. So by the time he came back from break, it was pretty much time for the match to kind of the quarter hour and all that to get to where, it would have been. And seemed like this match ended like 10 minutes short. But I thought this was like, for what we got, this was a hell of a match. Like they were firing off. I was totally into this. When I saw this, I originally thought this was the planned finish because I felt like everything got timed up so perfectly, but they apparently did not, it was not a part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Heyman ended up going down on a flip bump and landing, kind of knocking himself out. He got concussed and he was fine the next day, so that's good to hear. I think this was some of that fortunate gratuitous luck because I think Hangman can kind of come back from this a little bit stronger than you could if he, it seems like he was probably going to eat a Death Rider 1, 2, 3. But if this was the case, like Moxley knocks him out with the clothesline, it's like a doctor stoppage. I thought this was fortunate as hell booking, right? Or, it not booking per se, but this was a fortunate as hell circumstance. I think that is better than what the plan actually was.
I probably agree with you. The thing is, I think that they're not going to be able to get back to Page and Moxley for the championship. Like they'll have to do that without the championship, and that's fine. But yeah, I thought this match was well on its way. And it just got to the closing stretch, and then that with the lariat, and the lariat took him out, and I was like, and I had heard about what had happened beforehand. But watching it was like, okay, so the match was good. The match was about to kick into that next gear, and it just ended, and that sucked. It sucks. And then they had to cover for a long time, and then they kept the camera off, which I appreciated, off of Page. I appreciated why they were trying to help him out. And Moxley, ever the professional on his feet, talking about how he hopes for that he'll be able to recover from this and everything and fill time, and then he used the what happened to Page into fitting it into his talk with MJF, immediately after. And I thought this dude they want to script this dude down to the T. No, that was dumb.
So it seemed like they kind of sent Regal out there with whatever the orders were, and maybe he communicated to however the segment was going to go. MJF was always planning to come back out there. This was always going to be the end of the show.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Yeah,
but they came out and basically, Regal was basically MJF came out and was like, "Yo, I came out with Bryce." He comes out, sees the cash in. Moxley wants him to get in there. And he rolled out the ring and he handed Regal the chip. He said he's going to cash in when Moxley's 110%, no excuses. So he's cashing in Full Gear in advance. Yes, thank you. No Money in the Bank bullshit.
But that does leave open the precedent that like you can do that next year, which they need to say no. That was just some shit we were fucking with you. Like you can never actually do that. That's what they need to just definitively say.
Yes, I would appreciate if they did that. Oh wow, Mayu will face Kylan King at the New Japan USA show on Friday. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, I'm so happy they announced this in advance. Jon Moxley and MJF for Full Gear. They had a good match last time. At the last
this
one,
this match should be better.
It should be better. The storyline is like 1,000 times better, going into this.
Way better.
We don't have to worry about this. Like MJF was kind of like, it was like a gimmicky kind of thing. It was
the Trump campaign stump speech thing and like the like a play on like, election denial and shit. It's like,
yeah, it was pretty bad when you look at it. Mark Sterling having to wrestle a match. So like, and MJF was like kind of like moonlighting kind of as a top guy at that time. It was putting him in the spot, seeing, what he could do. But he's, Waka and Mina versus Kylie Ray and Tiara James. Sorry.
We knew Waka was coming over. We already knew that.
I'm sorry. Kylie Ray is coming?
Oh, don't start this shit. Don't start
I'll believe it when I see it. So after that, they, that was it. This, I thought it was a really great show.
Agreed.
Unfortunate, like with the Page injury. Hopefully he's back soon. We know these concussion things can be weird. Adam Cole's still not back.
Well, didn't he have surgery on his shoulders or no?
You know what? I'm not sure.
Okay,
but right now he's out for a concussion. So
wow.
So after that, I guess James, it's time to hit the music.
All right, so I guess we'll handle this business now because I'm forgetting like later on. So Black Sabre Jr. is saying that matches have been announced for the women's matches have been announced for like the Rumble on 44th Street stuff for New Japan Pro Wrestling and this Friday. So he's saying that Mayu will face Colin King for SWA title match, and he's saying that Mina and Waka will face Kylie Ray and Tiara James. Me and you have, I guess you weren't aware of the Waka New York stuff.
Yes, I did not know this.
Yeah. Like,
the true queen of New York.
Yes. When she first joined, Cosmic Angel, she asked her to join Cosmic Angel. She was, Mina, she actually speaks a bit of English and she's like, where are you from? And Waka goes, perfect fucking English accent. I'm from New York. And like, it was a running meme of like the I'm from New York thing the whole time. Whenever that happened, when it happened last year. So like, yeah, people, you type in Waka New York, Waka Sugiyama New York, you'll see like pictures of her like photoshopped where like you got her in the Yankee with Tim's on. Like, it's fucking hilarious. And then you'll see her
bacon, egg, and cheese.
I don't know about the bodega, but like you'll see stuff where you be like, the like Waka Tsukiyama, the king of New York. And he like, bro, type in Waka Tsukiyama or Waka and Eddie Kingston and see what pops up. It's fucking hilarious.
Black Sabre Jr. She says she's got to come out to Welcome to New York by Cameron.
Oh God. Do you think Jay-Z sent Cameron a cease and desist by that song yet? Like, don't you dare play that shit ever again.
Yeah, man.
Picture of her and
Eddie. I would definitely pay for the Waka Tsukiyama New York vlog. I would definitely want to see that. Just walking around.
My God.
But the more important thing, James, is Waka getting a win here?
No. No.
They gonna have her lose to who they wrestling?
You just have Kylie King pin her. It's fine. Whatever.
Or no, she's wrestling Kylie Ray and Tiana James.
I'm sorry, not Kylie
Tiara
James.
James.
I'm sorry, not Kylie. I'm sorry. I meant to say just have Kylie Ray beat her. Whatever, it's fine. Like you cannot give Waka's first win to New York to America. You got to put that shit in Corcoran Hall somewhere. Like yeah, you can't deny the fans that like they've been rooting for her this whole time, and like they be giving her like these big last gas kickouts and like in all these trios matches or whatever else. Like you got to save that for the actual fans, otherwise it ain't gonna mean nothing. Like yeah, and like once she gets to win, she's it's gonna be real rough for her. So like yeah, you can't just get that to because especially like you do that in New Japan crowd like I didn't know she never won a match. She never won a match for it. They'll be like, oh okay cool neat. They'll be like neat, that's nice. So yeah, they need to put her in a private party on the vlog. Oh my god, this is great. Yeah, so. Oh man, we have not talked about any of the new Stardom stuff since the Grand Prix was about October 1st. So this weekend I caught up on all the stuff. There was also a pay-per-view, the opening night of Tag League, and attached to open night of Tag League was also the IWGP Women's Tournament, the domestic side. So that all got cleared up. I guess the main things to talk about is. After the Grand Prix, they did a triple press conference. Boom, boom, boom. First was New Blood 5 show. We talked about that. I did not watch New Blood 5. We talked about the Chan Yoda part, but like the two things of consequence that actually happened was that Nanami of Diana, she has joined to be the 5th or technically 6th member of God's Eye. Konami is a part-timing in and out member of God's Eye, but Tomoka Inaba from Just Tap Out is actually a full-fledged member. So Nanami will be the 6th member. And then in the main event of New Blood 5, because in the blue block you had Ami versus Hannon, and Ami beat Hannon. You had a rematch, or Ami earned a title shot. And in the main event of New Blood, Ami put away Hannon with the power driver, and she is a new future of Stardom champion. I think that's the 9th champion ever. Let's see. Kid, Utami, Micah, Ida, Mina, Unagi, Rawaka, Hannon, Ami. Yeah, 9th. Good match, another in typical Hannon quality, low threes type of thing. And she fought and scrapped, and ultimately couldn't put away the bigger Ami. Ami used her size and new gear and everything. She looks much better now. Looks like somebody as opposed to just generic big wrestler. So she has improved month over month since she came to Stardom from just like generic big to like she actually hold her own in tag matches and actually have quality matches in the Grand Prix. So she's improved greatly since coming here. So interested to see what she does with it. Or this is going to be like like almost like a Wardlow thing where she just comes in and squashes all these small girls. We'll see. And then the other press conference was Tag League, and they brought out Tag League. It's 8 teams this year. I'll go through the team list real quick. In the blue block, you end up having Amasaki and Azumi. They go by the name O2 Line. You have Ami and Mirai, the New Era, it's either the New Era or New Eras. Can't remember which one it is. Hannon and Ida return with their tag team from the 2020 Tag League. Wingori, Hazuki and Kaguma, Fukuoka Double Crazy, FWC, Micah and Emeka, Mahime, Mina and all caps Saki. They call themselves Wild Venus. Nanai and Yu, they're calling themselves 7 Up. Natsuko and Rawaka, they're calling themselves BMI 2000. And that's the blue block. The red block is Lady C and and Mai Sakurai. They're the odd couple tag team. They have had smoke with each other ever since Mai left Cosmic Angels for Donna Del Mondo, and Lady C did not like that. Obviously, Lady C, got into the business as a Tam fan. Like, so they've always had that smoke, and then they faced each other in the opening round of Cinderella tournament, and Mai won, so they've always had smoke, so they made the odd couple tag team, and they're called My Fair Lady. Death and Saki, same team as last year. We Love Tokyo Sports. Julia and Tekla.
Mafia Bella. Man,
I keep wanting to call them Bella Mafia, but that's the Lil' Kim shit.
Bro, they got the font from the Lil' Kim shit. They know what they're doing. But yeah, this team is rapidly shooting up the list of my favorite teams.
Yeah, I'm just glad that Tekla's back. The team I was talking about earlier, I was mentioning all the former tag teams that are in the tag league, like Aphrodite, Kamatani, and Utami. I don't know how I forgot about them. Kid and Momo, Black Desire, Mayu and Kogo, and they're calling themselves.
Hey, can I call them Team West Coast?
Black Desire?
Yeah. That sounds like some West Coast Productions were produced.
I was thinking, is that where you're going? But I was gonna ask, go ahead. Yeah, if you wanna do that, West Coast Productions, Evasive Angles, all that's on you. Go for it.
Indeed.
So anyway, so if they ever get a tag belts again, would that be Black Desire too?
Sure.
Okay, so. All right, so Momo, Kogo, and Mayu, they're calling themselves Peach Rock. Tam and Natsupoi, they announced their official tag team name at this press conference. They're calling themselves Meltier. Meltier is they did an interview, and I believe it's something along the lines of they've cried so many tears over each other, together and apart together. Now they're together, they're mending it, and that's why they're calling themselves Meltier. I forgot. It's something with tears and melding, whatever. That's what it is. I'm just gonna keep calling them Tamapoi or Tam and Natsupoi. I don't like the name. It is what it is. And then the last team, the team that I think you're most actually geeked about, Shiri and Tomoka Inaba, Karate Brave.
Oh my god, Karate Brave. Bro, when I saw them come out there in those fucking gis, I was like, all right, somebody, this is the real somebody's about to get their ass kicked. I'm a mark for black belts. I like to get a black belt myself one day, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to swing that. We'll see. But yeah, I was into the Karate Brave.
Look, man, they showed up to the press conference and it was in the gi, it was in the pants, and they had no shoes on. They ain't give a fuck. And they came out and they doing the whole whoops and all of that and all of that. And man,
hitting us.
Mayu and Mayu and Kogo were behind them in the press conference sitting down, and Mayu couldn't fucking contain herself, and she was corpsing left and right while they was doing all the fucking moves, and you could just see Kogo just was dying laughing. It was great. And then they did a similar at the show. They actually did a similar player introduction to the Grand Prix now with all the tag teams, and they came out with the gi on the top, and they did all that too, and then they came down to the ring and they did all that. But those are tag league participants. So and then I think what else? And then also they announced the full card for the pay-per-view on November 3rd. And they went through it. White belt challenger will be Mina, because she ended up beating Kamatani on the November 23rd Corkin Hall show during the Grand Prix. Micah ended up beating Shuri during the Grand Prix, so she's getting her red belt shot at 11-3 show. You also have Black Desire getting a tag shot versus Melt here. I'm calling that for now. And third from the top. And then various other matches. Konami will be on the card with God's Eye. So they already had that established. And like during these house shows or Road to shows to get to this weekend shows, like they put over the challengers in a way, the white belt and red belt challengers, Micah and Mina, in a way that like they haven't done with like both title challengers like all year, and that's due to the fact that like they run so many fucking shows that you just can't keep track of what's going on. But like they had put Micah in a bunch of tag matches with Himeka and Mahime, and they were either draws, fast draws with former tag team champions like Kaguma and Hazuki, or they were just flat out beating the brakes off people, and it was fun. And then they were putting Mina in like second and third match singles matches, and with people like Ida, and she was beating them and taking apart their legs, doing the hitman stuff, leg work if you will, and then putting them in the figure four and making them tap out. Or they were putting her with Natsupoi and Tam in trios matches, really good trios matches, like in second from the top on these house shows, and she was putting people away. So like really strong work they're doing with her. They also there was also I believe it was a draw. I can't remember, but it was like a tag match between top three of Cosmic Angels, top three of Queen's Quest, and like when they're doing they have the segment where it's time for Kamatani versus Mina, and like they're really good together. Like I think they're gonna have a kick-ass match. So I'm really and obviously they did the same with DDM versus God's Eye and putting in Micah versus Shuri, and you've already seen a Micah versus Shuri match. Like they're great. So like I think they're gonna have a really good card that's actually anticipated and all that kind of stuff, and with like a proper card as opposed to this tag league thing from this weekend. But another one of the press conferences was like them announcing like who was going to be like the four from the domestic side of the IWGP women's title tournament. So they announced it. Momo versus Mayu, and the second match was Utami versus Himeka. So I gave you the New Blood. I gave you all the press conference stuff from a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna fast forward through all of the Road to stuff and get to this weekend. So at the Korakuen Hall on I think it was Saturday. Semi-main event, Utami versus Himeka. Winner goes to the semifinal for the IWGP Women's Title tournament. Then they went and did them. They went out there and slapped and thumped and threw and lariated. It was awesome. I give it might be 4 stars. I give it 3 3/4. I would suggest you go check it out. At the end, ultimately Utami ended up winning with a Black Tiger Bomb. And the main event was Mayu and Momo. They had a great match. I'm giving it 4 flat stars. Mayu, they built this and laid this thing on thick for Mayu as far as his overcoming the obstacles. Like they also had a match later in the Grand Prix where like Mayu just can overcome the numbers game and the cheating and whatever else, and Momo ultimately won. They laid it on even thicker. This time Mayu fucking won. And at the end of it, and this match was awesome, great wrestling involved, but at the end of it, the finish is they're running, all the times running their third, or fourth cheating play actually. And they take the ref, they go to while Mayu's on the top rope, they end up throwing or hitting Mayu with the box, that Roaka box, and foreign weapon box, and then Momo was about to get her down, or someone slides Momo a chair. I think his kid slides her a chair, and she's about to use a chair. Mayu super kicks the chair into Momo's face. after all the cheating, the ref has seen Momo and Oita try to do. He lets it slide, and then Mayu goes to the corner and hits the triple jump, drop off, reverse Hurricane Rana, and gets the win. Great finish, 4 stars. And then so that takes us to the pay-per-view from Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember at this point. So now I have to find. So first match was My Fair Lady versus We Love Tokyo Sports. A lot of odd couple, I don't like you, we're gonna get each other away, we're gonna piss each other off type of stuff. Ultimately, at the end, you end up having Def take advantage of it and shove C into Mai, knocking Mai out of the ring, and then C ends up getting pinned with the O'Connor roll. Probably give it 2 flat stars. Next match after that, you end up getting, if my notes would show me who was next, you end up getting, the thing to announce actually is they announced that they're doing a trios tournament beginning of next year. On the first show of next year, they're starting the tournament.
It's called like the Triangle something.
Triangle
right?
Derby.
Yeah.
It's going to be a 14-team tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, so at the beginning of 2020, they were going to try to do a high-speed Grand Prix, and, they had, Layla Hirsch involved in it. They brought in Dust from Smash and other American indies, and then, pandemic hit, and they had to just shut the shit down. They couldn't finish it, and never got a continuation. So, they were always going to try stuff like this, and I think, I love their trios matches in Stardom, so I think it's going to be fun. It probably end up being better than, Tag League. But remains to be seen, but that's a lot of people. 14 teams, 3 people. That's a lot of people. So it's going to take a lot of coordination. I hope they make it work. Next match after that second match, you get Mina and All Cap Saki versus Natsuko and Roaka. So Mina's music hits, and you're looking at, the entrance, and you're waiting for the entrance, and a couple beats keep going by, and I'm like, Mina and Saki should be out by now. I was like, oh god, they're gonna bring them out. They beat them up backstage and brought them out. Sure enough, 10 more seconds go by. Natsuko and Roaka bring him out, and then they proceed.
Bring them out.
Yeah, they proceed to get hella heat to start fight. Mina and All Cap Saki are fighting from underneath the whole time. Mina starts singling out Natsuko's bad knee. Natsuko, I don't know. Mina puts her in a dragon screw leg whip, and it was the most pathetic selling of a dragon screw leg whip or bumping for it I've ever seen. And then 2 times Mina tries to put Natsuko in a figure 4 leg lock and can't get the leg lock, and it wasn't Mina's fault, and I'll leave it at that. And then at the end, it looked like the match was in jeopardy. Natsuko escapes by using a weapon. Natsuko gets a steel pipe and chokes Mina in All Cap Saki, and one break on the 5 count and took the DQ.
Let's look at the bright side, James. Our friend Velquez is very happy.
What about me? And what about anybody that wants to watch good wrestling matches? I thought that if she was going to come back, I didn't have high hopes that she was going to become a new wrestler or whatever else, but I thought she would try to modulate the bullshit, and she's back, and then bullshit's back immediately. I don't know why she's still here. And it was one thing when it seemed like she had been gone for so long that maybe she situation where like she can't come back and wrestle and she's going to be a heater, and that's fine. But like she's back in here and like she's having the worst matches on pay-per-views. Like immediately, first fucking match back. Like, and she is set to have a grudge match with Utami. And after just seeing like Utami have this match with Himeka over this weekend, and then with Mayu, I'm like, I know she's fucking great, but like she can't walk on water. I am. If she doesn't have a good match with Utami, she needs to just fucking be told to leave or whatever, or find something else to do. Because like this shit ain't gonna work if she's doing this and dragging down the fucking promotion and dragging down like average star ratings for like I don't want to see her. Like what match, Rich? What match do you want to see Natsuko Tora have in Stardom right now?
Natsuko Tora. I would like to see her wrestle Starlight Kid for the leadership of Odayo Tai and lose.
What? Got a second match?
No.
Okay. Starlight Kid's already the leader. Like, Natsuko is back and she's number 3. Like, people can, pretend or whatever else.
I saw some picture.
Deep number 3.
I saw some picture and they had Natsuko still in the middle and stuff like that. So, I don't know. They gotta get these optics right.
Anyway, so the show goes to intermission. Got to wash that stink off of them, and they come back, and you have Ida and Hanan versus Zumi and Amasaki, and what do you know? They didn't do any bullshit. They just wrestled. It was really good, or it was not really good, but it was good. And they left Azumi in there with Ida, and Ida was lining her up with chops, and Azumi was trying to chop back, and Azumi was fucking regretting it, and she was like selling her hand was hurting trying to chop with Ida, and Ida made a mistake, and then Azumi caught her in Azumi Sushi and got her out of there. Ended up giving this match 3 stars. So next match after that, you have, this is where I think I told you to tune in, Shuri and Tomoko versus Momo and Kid. This match was so fucking good.
This was so excellent. Oh my God. Like, bro, if they're wrestling the tournament, like the next 3 matches we're going to review, this tournament's going to be fucking awesome. Yeah. And I'm going to be tuned in. As far as this match, or excuse me, the next 4 matches we're going to talk about. I love Black Desire, West Coast, Team West Coast. And then I saw Shuri and Tomoka and Naba. This was like my first time seeing her.
No. This is she. Remember the girl that went to that draw with Hanan in the Futures Belt where she kept putting on that move? That's her.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So this is like your second or third
time seeing her.
Yeah.
And man, I'm very impressed. I like this felt like a main event. Like they wrestled this like it was like, I did not like the finish though. They gave her that sick ass knee, Starlight Kid, and she kicked out. And I was like, bro, that's like that's like a tag team finish. Yeah. And then she kicked out, and then they went to the draw like seconds later. I was like, I felt robbed. But
this is how I see it, right? At the start of the match, Tomoko, like, you look at Tomoka in her size, and like she's small, it's like she's like the size of Kid, and like that 5'0" range. And like you look at her, and she looks like she could be like, she looks like if Starlight Kid and Micah had like some type of relative, or like if there was like some type of disrelation between Micah and Kid, and like what they would look like, what that person would look like, it would look like Tomoka. So like Tomoka is, I think she's 19 or 20. And she wants, another 5'0", 20-year-old, but clearly Kid's a bigger star. So Kid like gets in the ring, teasing, and gets out. And so they start with Shuri and Momo. Shuri and Momo just do what they always do, where they kick each other's ass, and it's awesome. And then they, Momo tries to kick with Shuri. Shuri just, you can't do that. And then like they get it, Tomoka gets in and she tries to like kick like she's Shuri. And then Momo's like, look, Shuri has tons of skills and resourceful, and like she can do a million things, but like, so you can't just zero in and say, I'm not going to let her kick me. But like, you're younger, so you're not as skilled as like me, as like the top of this promotion or the top of the Joshi world. So like, I'll be damned if like your biggest gun is like you be able to kick somebody with a PK and like you can light me up. So they take her leg out, and like from a lot of the match is like them working over her leg, and sure you have to make plays to keep this shit back on balance and keep it on track while Tomoka's fighting from underneath, and it's awesome. And then as you mentioned, like they get this spot where like Shuri lifts up I think it's Kid in like a flapjack position, holds, and like she lets her go, and like she just drops, and then like Tomoka hits this like jumping knee strike. They just fucking destroys Kid, and Kid kicks it too. And then they keep going from there. But like it was an awesome match. Like I ended up giving this 4 flat. A lot of people like have this at like 4.25, and I ain't mad at them. Like this match was a blast, and like I thought they did establish it. Like Tomoka is really good for her experience level. She's not at the level of, you know, like the regulars, but like she can get there, and she has tons of heart to hold on to survive like pain and anguish. I thought the draw did something for her, being in there and going down that closing stretch with Kid in that way.
Yeah, I was into this. I'd probably go like 4 or 4.25.
Yeah. So then you had the kicking and the striking and the technical expertise of someone like a Kid and someone like a Momo and someone like a Shuri, and then we said, all right, we had a bunch of chisels in the ring. Get that shit the hell out the way. Time for the sledgehammers and bludgeons. They brought out Micah and Himeka to go out against Ami and Mirai. And
bro, I saw that graphic pop up and I had to freeze and take a picture and send it to the group immediately, along with like cheering and happiness and like, oh, it's about to go down.
So in a New Japan type fashion, they didn't announce a couple matches on this card because of the Momo and Mayu match and the Himeka and Utami match. So once Utami and Mayu advanced, that's when they announced the 2 matches that we just discussed, or the match we just discussed and the match we're about to discuss. And I had totally it slipped my mind that they were in the same block. I don't know why, but like, you know, a pay-per-view back in August, I think this match was supposed to happen. It was going to be like a de facto number 1 contender match that I thought that Maihime was going to win, and then that was going to lead them to then go and face Tamipoi on like the pay-per-view where the tag team match main evented. I thought that was going to be the match, right? And I was pissed that like, you know, Kyrie got in COVID jail and it fucked up everything. I was like, damn, man, I really wanted to see this match. And then lo and behold, like, well, if this goes the way I want it to go, like, we'll get that match, like, after Maihime wins the tag league or whatever else, but it'll be all good then. But they had this match, Mirai and Ami versus Maihime, and like I've been saying this for a few weeks now. It's like, what's better than one Maihime? 2 Maihimes.
Bro, the bell rang and they just started running into each other.
They just start fucking colliding, and it was so awesome. They just kept ramming into each other until you
like
ended up
offensive
with,
and defensive linemen.
Yes, and like ultimately at the end, like Mirai and Micah get sent flying out the ring, and then what's left is the 2 fucking giants, and then they start thumping and going at it. And basically from there, like whoever started losing, the other person's tag partner would come in, even the odds, they would tag out, and then it would be the same cycle over and over and over. And it was fast paced and fun. And like, I really enjoyed like the time I got of seeing Mirai and Micah in the ring together. Ultimately, the closing stretch ends up being Ami and Micah, and Micah rocks her with the I forgot what she rocked her with, but she ended up finishing her off with at the end with a Michinoku driver. And this match was just a delight to watch. And to giving this 3 3/4, I just and like I know like it, you know, over time and more time and like more experience, like their matches in the future would be better than this. And this is the beginning. I'm just happy to see this. It really was.
I think I'm gonna start driving the Mariah agenda just to stick it to him a little bit.
Yeah. Do we need to talk about that right now, or do we? Because
I think we can save it for a bigger.
Okay.
Spot.
We see you 3-4 people on Cage Match. I'll just leave it at that. So
Up next,
yeah,
it's time for the execution of Natsupoi in this. This match is for Velkez. This match is for Rich Latta. Mafia Bella stomp walk the dog with these cosmic aunties. Man, the entrances.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. The entrances. It looked like a bunch of hard shit against a bunch of soft shit. A bunch of darkness against a bunch of light. A bunch of swag, I would say, against like I don't know what to describe cosmic regalness, I'll say. And they came out here. Donna Del Mondo like basically come out with the yin and the yang versions of the outfits. They take it off and they look like they dress as like, you know, as the Rhythm Nation out here. I immediately wanted to nominate them for best dress, or Julia at least. And then this is an awesome match. There were plenty of spots here where they were just putting it on Natsupoi, and once again, Natsupoi quit. I loved it. I loved it. I've been waiting for Tekla to come back. Tekla looked great. Julia looked great. Their double team moves looked awesome that they were brutalizing Natsupoi with. I've been waiting for a match like this to see the brutalization, you know, of Don Mondo on Natsupoi, you know.
So during one of the house shows, they did a Cosmic Angels match, I think with Mina in there instead of Waka versus it was Mina in there, and it was Julia, Himeka, and Mai. And when they got to Natsupoi and Himeka, oh my god, like you cannot, like, when you know, like, it would be like if you watched like Shawn screwed over Diesel and it made Diesel like the maddest he's ever been, and he was fucking unstoppable giant, and then somehow Shawn fought fucking back and like was fucking German suplexing Diesel around. Like it when I say it in that way, it sounds fucking preposterous, but somehow these two pulled it off because they're that damn good together in like the story and like their friendship. You could tell, like, it's so believable, like how hurt Himeka was and all that kind of shit, and how like Natsupoi has leveled up by moving on. But that's a side note. Like, if you ever have time, go back and check that. It's somewhere between like October 8th and I think it's like an October 16th show, or I think, but whatever. To this match, Natsupoi, like when Natsupoi left or turned on Dom Mondo, like Tekla was the one that like broke down and cried, and like Julia had to like console her when they were walking off, and like that was a play on like when Mai left Cosmic Angels for Donna Del Mondo, and like Waka was inconsolable and Tam walked off with her. And like it was well earned because like about a month before the turn, they had put Natsupoi and Tekla together as like the speedster tag team on the undercards of these Road to shows, and they were a blast to watch. They were a blast. Like, I wanted them to get a tag match against FWC. That's how much I liked them. So, you know, Tekla's been hurt and she's finally back, and like Tekla's not, she's hurt, but she's not like seeking vengeance in the way that like Himeka is, right? She's just like, I'm hurt, I still care for you, and I want the best for you, but you really hurt my feelings, and damn, but like this is just a match, and I know her feelings. But like the thing is, Natsupoi is incredibly guilty of, like, feels incredible guilt about like how her freak feels about it.
She should.
But no, but like it's not the same, but it's not like she doesn't feel this way when like she has faced Julia, like even in the Grand Prix back at the end of August, or even when she went face to face with Himeka for the first time a couple weeks ago or a week ago. Like, it's a special kind of guilt. Like, I have no answer. She looks when she looks at Tekla in the ring, she looks like she's ashamed of herself. Like, that's the best way I can explain it. And through this match, like, Tam is trying to, like, kind of get her to snap out of it at points, and she does. They don't do the whole, like, I can't function. They wrestle and throw down, obviously, but, like, you can see, but it's, like, the good melodrama has negative connotation, but, like, it's the drama that's just, like, really good, and the action's incredible, and then, like, you get, you know, obviously you have Tam and Julia in there, and they're, you know, they'll always welcome a chance to beat the fuck out of each other, but, like, at the end, you end up with Julia in there with Natsupoi. Tam can't make a play to save her. Tekla has her hauled off, and Julia slaps on like an Indian deathlock, and then from the Indian deathlock, like slaps on the guillotine, and Natsupoi has no choice but to tap out. But like, there's a bunch of stuff I'm leaving out, like double dives off to the floor and stuff and everything. But like, this match was awesome. I thought about giving it 4. I don't know, but like, it's around that. This match was really, really good. Really good, like, really good emotion, great drama if you, like, been following the promotion. Like, when people say, like, you know, this company can't tell stories, this is the kind of shit I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is awesome. What do you end up giving this?
I would probably say, like, 3 3/4 or 4.
Yeah.
I'm still baffled that people think Stardom doesn't tell stories.
It's a lot of it's Blanche. They do stuff like, it's really weird. It's hard to explain. I don't know. Like, it's a complaint that you hear from a lot of, like, I don't know, mad people that are upset that, like, they've been successful and, like, the rest of the Joshi landscape has, I don't know, suffered or struggled post pandemic or whatever else. So they're making it so that they're you know. We don't want these people to make money and be exposed. That part of it, and then there's also the part where it's like, Japanese wrestlers, they don't tell stories. That's also that part that's inherent in it too, where it's like, get fucked. So, for me, like, I'm always like rumbling, like, bro, this is awesome. Like, I don't care. I don't know. I feel like people are missing out that are like just like pro wrestling or just like simple storytelling of that's human. Or the human condition or drama of that. Like, it's soap opera stuff and it's so good.
I feel like we're running like long, or else I would like completely deconstruct that fallacy. Maybe like next week or something.
Yeah. So next match after that, FWC versus 7-Up, Hazuki and Guma versus Nanai and Yu, and I feel like this was like a breakout. Like a breakout performance type of thing for you. Like, I've seen you in a bunch of tag matches, and she's always really good in tag matches. And she's also really good in short singles matches and undercard stuff. And like her power stuff and the way that like FWC and Guma sold for her, like they were trying to get her over. And I think they did a really good job at it. And I think Nanai came in with Hazuki and like she bumped her ass off for Hazuki.
From their exchange in the corner on, like, this is a lightning fast, like, incredibly well sequenced match, subverting your expectations. I was watching this, I was like, bro, I know Nanai's not about to get pinned, like, but like I was seeing it, I was like, bro, I think FWC is gonna win, and then like they pull it like right off the table where you realize, oh, they're fucking losing. Like, as soon as you hits like that cannonball in the corner, it's a wrap, like, from there. But this was also another banger right here. I'd probably go 4 on this one.
I go 3 3/4 on this. But yeah, like, it was just really good, and like another really good Nanai match in Stardom. What do you know, man? Like, and I know. Look,
is Nene coming to play?
Look, Nanai's always like good in tags, so it's like I don't know if people. I know people just don't like the idea of this. Like the average age of like the invading faction, the new Neo Stardom army thing or whatever else. And I think that's fair. And like you watch, you know, the semi-main event and you see all female, I don't think she has anything to offer Stardom really. But like Yu's fucking good. She's always been fucking good. Nanai, she's always been fucking good. People hate her, but she's always been fucking good. Yuna Manase, I can see why people have problems with Yuna Manase, whatever else. But like, she's a Stardom original. She trained Natsupoi. She trained Tam. They're in Stardom now. They're two of the biggest stars in the company. It's people are going to get in. It is what it is. And I think you can hide. I think you can like make it work around her in tags when she's like going to be probably number 3 in a faction. So I think it's fine. But people, you know, it ain't exactly Domingo Mondo. I will agree with them on that. Like when they came in with Shuri and Julia and Micah, I think that's fair. But like that's a high bar. So. Yeah, main event, semifinal of the, or actually the final of the foreign bracket of the tournament, Kairi versus Alpha Female. This is a classic small baby face versus a big bruising monster. I don't think that Alpha Female has much in the way of, lateral movement at this point in the stage of the game. I think she's 40 now. But like she's just like, you see the size between her and Kairi, and it's just that's you know that story you're gonna get, and like they gave you the story, and Kairi endured the blows, endured the beating, capitalized off a mistake that off the mistakes that she could capitalize off of, escaped grave danger like getting superplexed from the second rope, avoided getting thrown into the exposed turnbuckle, and then ultimately like. You know, the mistake was Kairi gets to that exposed corner. Alpha Female charges. Kairi sidesteps, hits the spinning back fist, then spears Alpha Female into the corner, and then hits a big elbow and gets the win. I gave it 3 flat stars. I think it's, you know, classic Kairi babyface endure storytelling, underdog babyface from underneath storytelling. But like, I think it's still a good match regardless of whatever deficiencies Alpha Female has at this stage in the game, because Kairi basically idiot-proofed the match. Main event, Mayu versus Utami. You watch this match?
Yes.
Okay, what are your thoughts?
I thought that this was a situation where it feels like if you were somebody that has been wondering or wanting Mayu to start getting that like more spotlight and focus, like this was like a good match for you, because it was good to see Mayu like kind of, you know, she's been, let's keep it a buck, she's been kind of phased
down cycle
to a different position. So like this is like, I think for your classic Stardom watcher that loves Mayu Utani, they really love this. I definitely there was a part in there like a lot of good like suplexes. I'm more into Utami as a performer right now than Mayu, but I thought this was a really good match. About 15 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes.
So won't eat a ton of time. They kind of get right to it, but yeah, I can't begrudge them for wanting to push Mayu a little bit and give her something.
So this felt like Mayu does this, and I don't think I can think of anybody else that comes to mind that can do this or even would try it. Is like she seemingly like when I think of this, I think of like the 2019 Grand Prix final match, not the final, but like the final night with Momo. This year's Grand Prix match with Julia, where like. It's like she has like a 25-minute match, like, you know, scripted out or whatever else. And she basically like, it seems like she says, fuck that shit. Somebody hit one big move. And then we're just basically going like the last 15 minutes of that match. We're scrapping the first 10 minutes of the 25-minute match. We're just going to go straight to the shit. And, I don't know how she figured out how to do this, but every time she does it, it fucking works. Like, so they start off in like, you know, they try to hit each other, or Mayu tries to hit the ropes, tries to do some technical stuff, and tries to hit a flying head scissors on Utami, gets the head scissors. Utami just gets up immediately, and Mayu tries it again, and like, Utami just fucking drops her with a sidewalk slam, and then like the match is on like that from there. And like, Utami beating the shit out of her, tearing up her back. Mayu fights back, and, we end up at different points where like Mayu has advantages, but honestly it's just her surviving like the onslaught that Utami's bringing. Mayu ends up hitting a dive through the middle of the ropes. And then like she tries to like get in the match by like going for a moonsault or going for a frog splash. Tommy stops her at the top after working over her back some, and like hits a second rope air raid crash after working over that back. But instead of like just dropping on her back, she just drops on her neck with the air raid crash. I was like, God damn! Like Mayu sells as if she broke her neck. I couldn't tell one way or the other. And then it got to get any alerts saying that Mayu Iwatani is passed, so I assumed she was fine or good enough to wrestle. So they continue going. There's another air raid crash where she lands on her neck again. Except this was from the floor. Well, not from the floor, but like on the mat. And then like Mayu is in danger, and like Mayu escapes out of like a Samoan drop or a rack bomb with a crucifix pin. She has another crucifix bomb. Sorry. And then like they start, gearing up for like this closing stretch. Everybody's, one move away from being put away. Utami tries to charge her one last time. She ends up getting super kicked. She also like tries to go to the top rope for middle rope for something, and like Mayu stops her, hits a at one point, Mayu like thinks she has her put away with a dragon suplex and kicks, and like Mayu makes his shocked face. I think you memed it. I think you stilled it. Yeah. So Mayu ends up stopping Utami on the top rope, and I can't recall if this was like a callback to their 2020 red belt match, but like Mayu finally lands like the running three on like a big body power wrestler. Like she couldn't do it with she couldn't do it with Takumi back in 2020. I think she may have tried it against Utami, but she actually lands it this time. And then she like immediately like goes straight to the top rope and hits a moonsault. Then it's like, oh no, motherfucker! It gets up there again, hits another one, and puts away Utami. I thought this was a great match. Four in the third range, like they just killed it. And like Utami, man, like. I've missed main event Utami. Like, I've missed
Indeed.
Just going out there and just like, yeah, you go ahead and put the 4.25 up. You could pistol that in and see if it's there or if you need to adjust it. But the 4.5 or 4.25, like, it's just like,
you know what it is, man.
So
you know
weird.
Why she didn't
it's
win.
It's so weird, bro. It's so weird. It's like, if you watch her matches and main events are fucking awesome. But like, if you were to explain to someone like what she does well, it's almost like the Okada thing. Like, if you were to explain to her what she does so well, you can't even really say like, oh, it's like she just does everything really well. And she like, and her matches pop off and like she's just fucking great. And obviously Mayu's great. And like, this is her third match ever. And like, they've had nothing but great matches.
Yeah. I guess I guess we're really finding out, with Utami, like, she's got to put the extensions back in.
It's her hair.
It's the hair. That's where her powers are. Or else she won't win.
Well, I mean, I will say this. When she beat Shuri in the opening weekend of the Grand Prix, she did have the hair in. She did have the hair in. So there may be something to that. I'm assuming that we will get another Shuri Utami match before we get to Shuri and Julia in at Sumo Hall in December. She won that match, so we'll see. Like, if she shows up in that match with hair, I'm gonna be scared. I'm like, oh, what's this? What's this? But yeah, this was a very good show. Very good show.
Yeah.
Obviously, that second match was just a fucking downer. But outside of that, like, that's, NASCO Tour is the only thing they can down you on a Stardom pay-per-view at this point. But yeah, next week we'll give you whatever the updates are. I did not whatever, we'll get to it. But we've run long on this show, so we'll wrap it up now. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Rich, before we get out of here?
No, man. Everybody, have fun, and think Halloween's next Monday, so we'll be here doing that. I believe I work until 8, so I'm gonna jump right into the Halloween wear after. So gonna have a fun week. So make sure you guys are following on the streams and supporting the YouTube channel as well with all the clips and shit.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to the show. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to this with. On the screen, you'll see for the stream, you'll see the link to the PayPal, the link to the Cash App, and if you're listening from a podcast, you can go to the show notes or show description and find our link to our Red Circle. You can donate there. Maybe you should listen to other shows on the network besides One Nation Radio. You have Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky Clive Wrestling Show, Grown Men Watch This Shit, 8-Bit Suplex, the Grave Consequences Podcast, All Things Elite, Great Match Generator, Get in the Ring, Meet the Press Slam, and All Things Elite.
Also, check out Keepin It Strong Style. James will have a segment on there this week.
Yeah, I just emailed it before we started this up, so I hope it made the cut. But yeah, it's basically covering what we just covered. Whatever. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.
Hey, it's me, your Uncle Cooper. Sorry to interrupt your music. I do love music, especially when it's set at a reasonable volume. You know, music is really only as good as your speakers. The same is true for minivans. A minivan is only as good as the tires it sits on. And the button on the screen there, it agrees with me. If you click on it, it'll bring you to all the Cooper minivan tires that'll make your minivan a really good minivan. Go with the Coopers! Cooper!
Right now, Amazon is offering some amazing extra perks that come with a job offer. If you start a warehouse job, you can get a $1,000 sign-on bonus. That means you start earning a paycheck right away, plus you get extra cash to use before the holidays. Applying is so easy, you don't even need an interview. It's never been so rewarding to start an hourly job that's close to home. So what are you waiting for? To join the team today, visit Amazon.com/sign-on bonus. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.